All right. Let me see. Okay, that seems to have worked. I don't know what the hell happened there, but we are back. Hey there, everybody. Weird. Yeah, no idea what happened there. I'm not going to chew right in. I'll be right back. I'm going to go get some drinks, and then we'll just dive right into today's topics. Alrighty. Really quick, let me get to the news. Let me actually. Yeah, let's do purple today. Oh no, Nathan, I am gonna finish Citizen Vigilante. I don't think I'm gonna do it on stream. Is the thing. I'm gonna finish it and I'll do a review for the main channel, and then the Let's Play we did is gonna be on the live channel. El Salve, thank you for $20. Good to see you back. Do you have plans on reacting to Chud's meltdown over the Odyssey? It's one of the worst I've ever seen. Maybe, but like I'm fucking tired of it. I might try to tie it into a conversation because I have thought of writing a piece about it because there is a conversation to be had about how they are both trying to shit on something as well made as Nolan's Odyssey and also hold up something as poorly made as Uwe Boll's Citizen Vigilante, as though like it's a completely incoherent artistic idea. Andy Van Hart, thank you for 18 months. Oh my god, I'm talking right into the mic. Sorry. I'm eating my meal bar for the day. I decided to do it right as I'm here. I won't do it into the mic. Canadian Goose, thank you for $10. Hi, DD, how are you? I'm all right. Also, any advice for NBs who are considering trying to seek out going on HRT, estrogen specifically, continued. Start at a low dose, see how it affects you, and go from there. Like, that's my advice to anybody seeking out trying HRT. Seymour, thank you for subscribing. Totally Real Cat Girl, thank you for $2. Manifesting a Germa-style wallsiness for stream. Yeah, Lady doesn't know what that is either. Solar Bonks, thank you for $2.79. Got an appointment to get E in a month, September 4th. Congratulations. Hell yeah. It's just like, the Odyssey thing is so bizarre. I saw the movie. I liked it well enough. I will say I'm not a Nolan enjoyer. I, for years and years, had a strong disdain for the films of Christopher Nolan that I would say borders on a hate. That has cooled in recent years because I don't care that much. Honestly, if something is not for me, I don't have the mental wavelength to like hold a hatred in my heart for shit when I could be enjoying stuff I do like. But I do think like the Odyssey is a really unique case of Nolan because I found it way more interesting and engaging than a lot of the other stuff where I think he's kind of po-faced, very self-serious, gray version of seeing the world you get through his movies. It fit really, really well with the filmmaking style that hung somewhere between like a Roger Corman 80s sword and sandal like Conan knockoff. Like it's halfway between that and like classic 50s golden age of Hollywood, like Cleopatra, Lawrence of Arabia, that kind of shit. Like it is splitting the difference on those two things and then filtered through Nolan's style. And it's such a weird fucking film that I was like, you know what? I fuck with it. I kind of fuck with it. I would say that it's my favorite Nolan film far more than anything else. And here's the thing. I went in, I still would like to see a more colorful version of it. Much like Villeneuve and his Dune movies, I find the lack of color in them to be very annoying. Especially when you look at like, and again, Dune is another thing that I just kind of have to look at and be like, that's not for me. If you love it, via con Dios, go with God, but it's just not my bag. But the thing I always loved about Dune was the representation of the world on the original novels and a lot of the original art that you saw and how colorful and weird and surreal that stuff is. And then the version we get is so far from that like fantastic classic fantasy that okay, here's one of the things that I had a thought on while I was watching the Odyssey is that usually Nolan and Dennis's movies don't work for me for very similar reasons. And that is that they use a lot of archetypes, but their characters don't have a lot of depth shown on the screen, right? And the thing that I think works best about the Odyssey is that Nolan is playing with those archetypes. So some of the oldest archetypes in fiction and is bringing them to life vividly and believably. And I think the other thing that Denis Villeneuve and Nolan, and I would say Ari Aster and some of the other kind of big names that people go crazy for, I think the thing that they succeed on most is the talent they have, the actors they cast. Like, everybody in a Nolan movie is working their ass off. And it shows on screen. Like, so I think even when the material is not super strong, which is, I think, a lot of my opinion on Nolan's writing, just as somebody writing characters, even when it's not super strong, it's brought to life with some of the best fucking acting money can literally buy. Like, it's crazy. And so, yeah, anyway, the Odyssey, I thought it was great. It had a lot of stuff I really liked. Some stuff didn't work for me. But it is such a weird concoction. And maybe it's just that I'm hungry for a style of epic filmmaking that we don't get very often anymore. I think it's it is sweeping in scope and scale in a way that to get in a movie nowadays, you have to go to some Marvel slop or fucking a DC movie, and half the time those are just a letdown in their own right. And I think that, like, seeing him tackle these archetypes is very much in his wheelhouse. Seeing him break out of his usual comfort zone to deliver this kind of swords and sandal epic, I think really, really worked. In a way that was not having me go, which is my big problem with his Dark Knight movies, is how fucking insanely self-serious they are. For a movie that is ultimately about a man dressing up. Like there's got to be a little bit of levity. It was the thing I really loved about the Batman, is that, what's his fuck? I'm forgetting his name, but the dude who made the Batman and the Planet of the Apes movies, the good ones. He understood that there is a wry sense of humor to the silliness of cape shit in a way. And I think Nolan really, 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 really didn't want to acknowledge that in any way. And it comes across, like, it makes me mad watching his movies, because it's treating, like, here is a psycho clown crime boss, and here is a man what dresses up as a bat. Matt Reeves, yes, thank you very much. And we're gonna, like, poke a little bit of fun at it, but not nearly enough. Not nearly enough for what the situation entails. And so I think having something that is far more dire, but far more, like, archetypical in a very, in a Jungian sense, you're talking about the man forging his own destiny, and Odysseus is very much like the classic lobster when you think of, like, you're playing with these archetypes and you're playing in this much more modern sandbox where I think stepping back and having the characters be very po-faced and serious works with the material in a way that I've every other time I've seen Nolan stuff, I'm like, this is silly. This is so silly and nobody's acknowledging it. It drives me fucking insane. Ooh, Ethan the Like, and now you're cooking. Peter Jackson adapted the Odyssey. I will say I really liked the scene with the Cyclops. I thought that was fucking amazing. The stuff with Cersei and the scenes that everybody from the Odyssey was like, how are they going to do this? And they did it real well. They did it pretty good. Sergeant Snuggles 2008, Grok is going to make a historically accurate version of the Odyssey. Nolan is cooked, bro. I doubt it. I think Christopher Nolan is fine. The goalpost, it has been, El Salve, to your point, the goalpost has been fascinating to watch that move because so many people thought like, oh yeah, no, the Odyssey is seriously going to fucking flop. And then it comes out, it earns more than its budget in a fucking week. And then I started seeing the day after people being like, yeah, but it's not going to make as much as the third Avatar movie. And I'm like, A, you have no way to know that. B, is that where we are now? We are judging, does it make as much as an $800 million movie that went off the backs of two of the most profitable films of all time? That's what we're doing? Big puppets. All right, sorry. Let me read these real quick. El Salve, thank you for $5. Even though the Odyssey was a box office hit and critically acclaimed by both critics and audiences, the Chuds still double down on it. Yeah, like I don't know. It's been weird to see because there've been, I fully expected a bunch of people to come out and be like, no, it's actually a good movie because it's a good movie. Like it's a well-made film. You have a hard fucking, you might not like parts of it. It might not be for you. But it's one of those things where it's like, it's a well-made movie. And from the same people who were just hyping up fucking Citizen Vigilante. Ugh. To me, Nolan's Odyssey sounds like man is sad over his war crimes that make it kind of mythological. No, because it's not just like there is something deeper about. All right, so I've been reading Blood Meridian. I've been in a weird media space because I've been writing I've been trying to finish the script for the film that I'm trying to shoot, and so I've been in a headspace where I'm just kind of taking in a lot, which I do a lot. And reading Blood Meridian, I think, it's one of those, it's like maybe the text to show somebody for depiction is not endorsement. And I'm not saying that that's endorsing war crimes or being sad about war crimes on Odysseus's part. But I think what you get when you look at that compared to something like Blood Meridian makes it extremely clear that this is the things that the writer is describing is not good. It just is. And I think that's very much the same thing with Odysseus, is that like not that, oh, he's sad about like his men doing war crimes, is that it comes back to something deeper that he is wrestling with, and that is like the permanence of life and his effect on the people around him. Because it's not just that his men did a bad. Like it's not about his men doing war crimes. It's about carrying how much of him lived on in his men, how much of him was responsible for the evil that they wrought, how much of him was responsible for them just being these unquenchable, pillaging, roving monsters. How much of that comes from him? How much of him inspired those things? Meanwhile, he's going throughout the kingdom and everybody's talking about spreading tales of it. And this is, the part from the book is spreading tales of Odysseus and his great works. And he's hiding his face and crying from it. because that's not the way he feels. It is not just a matter of like, oh, he feels regret over the lives lost. It is a cataclysmic understanding of the personal apocalypse that happens in war, right? The death of not just goodwill or conscience or morality, but the death of like your own humanity, and trying to framing it as a journey back to that humanity, right? NBTNC, thank you for $5. I've been reading Blood Meridian. You better be skipping over some of those words. DD, joking. I'm stressed as fuck, so I'm glad there's a stream. I am not skipping over those words. It's been this weird, like 1, 2, 3 of books I've read lately where the N-word just, well, I kind of expect, I knew it would happen in Blood Meridian, but before that, the book I just finished reading was Neil Stephenson's Snow Crash, which is like a classic. It's kind of like Neuromancer in that when you read it, you understand where 20 years of Silicon Valley dorks got all their ideas and references. Because Snow Crash is very much like things like The Matrix come from it. The thing I really enjoy about Stevenson's work, or at least I've only read Snow Crash, but the thing I enjoy about Snow Crash is how he paints prejudice and racism as things that are most witnessed openly at the highest strata of society and at the lowest strata of society, but it is usually something that the highest strata of society, they'll call you a slur, but they're not going to like kill you over it. Whereas the lowest strata of society, if they call you a slur, it is because they see you as some kind of threat. And it like really, I don't know, it lays out this very realistic world that I wish the rest of the book kind of lived up to. I like YT, sorry. I like YT. I like Hero Protagonist. I think they're fucking rad. But so much of that book is Neil Stephenson just writing about the world, and I would have rather have just a book on like intricate politics and shit, because there's so much of it that I feel is like this. I don't know. It's a good book, but it didn't really wrap around, like it didn't have the kind of cinching moment I wanted it to. It's more of something that you kind of live with, if that makes sense, or live in, if that makes sense. Agrimulia, Snow Crash is fun, but I honestly prefer Neuromancer. I think me too. Me too. Like it's fun. The absolute bestie. Do you like splatterpunk horror books at all? I don't know if Blood Meridian falls under splatterpunk. It might in some sections. I just read about the well, I read well past it. I think I'm on chapter 10 or 11, so I'm past the point where the kid is in the party that gets raided, and there is a fucking the thing I will say about Cormac McCarthy is look, as much as Neil Stephenson loves writing about fucking like pizza chains and the intricate layers of political stratification of mobs related to like businesses and military industrial complexes in the future. As much as Stevenson loves that shit, Cormac McCarthy loves fucking describing rocks, man. And he's so fucking good at it. The way he'll talk about a fucking like the setting sun against an outcropping of rocks will make you think you're about to witness the apocalypse. It's so fucking rad. And I think there are parts that could probably be called splatterpunk, but there is a lot of dryness in between. I think Cormac McCarthy has a really good handle on the feeling of living in a forsaken world. Is the way it feels. Like, it is not that you are, when you're reading something like Blood Meridian, it's not that, you feel that it's something bad is about, it's not like a Hitchcockian sense of like, oh, something is being foreshadowed to you as a viewer. You just take for granted that something fucked up is going to happen at some point. And then when it does, you're not like, whew, that's over. You're just like, okay, when's the next thing? When is the next super fucked up thing? And you're just waiting with bated breath as all of these just horrible people are going about their business trying to scrape and scrabble together some semblance of life, of living. But yeah, it's a goddamn. It's one of those books that really is like you can only describe the prose as sumptuous, in I think an accurate way. Like there's so much to digest, so much to just live in. Like it's hellish, but in a way, in almost Clive Barker kind of way, it makes me want to just wrap myself in the texture of the writing itself. El Storko, thank you for following. Goblin Culinary, thank you for 25 bits. McCarthy's New Scroll, 30,000 words describing the way Crimson Arizona sunset shades the profile of this sick-ass cactus. Also, Arsler. Yep. Well, not Arsler, but yeah. Nehemia, thank you for $5. Chud's just mad they didn't see a bunch of Greek sculptures being badass for 2 hours. Even then, I don't think they'd like the accurately depicted women. Like, there really is nothing that would have made them feel better with it. There's this bizarre... So the other reason I kind of want to do a piece on the Odyssey and people's reactions to it is that it's one of the first times I've seen, because this is something I've talked about before. This is something we've talked about for years. There's been this collapsing of the idea of Western culture and Western narratives to being not just Greco-Roman history, but also like the whole of Europe. And so it's this kind of ever-expanding glob of the things that white nationalists and ethnocentrists will latch onto and be like, nope, that's ours. Even though for fucking hundreds, thousands of years, the Romans and the Greeks, well, the Romans, regarded people in Europe as barbarians, regarded them as like literal subhumans, whatever. But now they all seem to, like, what you get with all these LARPing accounts who defend history and defend Western civilization, but I guarantee have never fucking cracked Marcus Aurelius for a second. Couldn't tell you what the most important works in the modern canon are. Like, none of that shit. So they regard something from Greece with the same cultural relevancy as like something from the UK. Right? Like they are treating Homer like Shakespeare. And in the like Western tradition of literature and passing down stories and all that stuff, Homer is certainly up there with Shakespeare as far as impact, but they don't belong to the same like historical and cultural lineage. And so it's been really fascinating watching people twist themselves into knots but particularly when it comes to, and this, the main thing I'm talking about here, particularly when it comes to the idea that the area around Greece, the area around the cradle of civilization that is equidistant between Egypt and Africa, that like the time period of which trade roads began being established in the Western world, the time period of which you saw the rise of massive empires, and that people are freaking out because they believe, again, because they have imbibed so much of this white supremacist bullshit of like, oh, there's a black person in my Knights and Swords game, this isn't realistic. They are now applying that same logic of, oh, this thing is from white culture, this thing is from white history. And so when they go to the Mediterranean, with people of vastly different colors and vastly different skin tones, they're like, oh, there wasn't a black, but there wasn't any Middle Eastern people here. There were. It's like, no, there fucking were, dog. Like there absolutely were. Sorry, I'm just going. Do, 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 do. Oh, exactly. Hollywood Code. These people don't even want to claim modern Greeks and Italians as white until it was time to leech onto the idea of the classics. Yeah, like it's the Sopranos joke. It's the Sopranos joke about how all of them, like when Christopher Columbus comes up and they're in this house, Christopher Columbus is a saint. Like, it has nothing to do with the fact that they don't know anything about history. It has nothing to do with the fact that Tony Soprano and all of the people around him, like, he is slightly less of an ignoramus, but they're all ignorant oafs. And so the idea of them going so hard to bat, it just comes from this reflexive action of them. Oh, he's Italian, so we have to like fight really hard to make sure that everybody knows that Christopher Columbus was Italian. And it's like, but who cares? How I don't know. My issues with history and how modern white supremacists and racists view it just begins and ends with I don't care to fucking argue over the pride of dead men. Severin, have you seen the Lauren Southern's video essay, Christ versus the Culture War? Interesting. I have not. Have I sat down with Analyzing Evil Study of Tony Soprano? I have not. But that sounds good. All right, Big Labor Boy, thank you for tier 1 to Kira Coven. El Saba, thank you for $5. If you time travel to Bronze Age Mycenaean and Minoan Greece, it would be easily confused by modern judges as Middle Eastern civilizations. Oh, 10,000 fucking percent. I do. So the other thing with the Odyssey, and I guess this is my last thoughts on it, is I do wish they went with real Bronze Age shit. I get why they didn't, because it would have looked dumb and dorky. But I think it really would have helped with like the otherworldly feeling of it being this Odyssey. I think ultimately I know why Nolan did that, why he made it, because he's retelling essentially a fairy tale, right? And doing it in a way that is not distracting, that the actors' performances, the writing, the storytelling comes through. And like, I get it. I just wish I wish that they would have gone fucking ham. I wish it was the crazy Bronze Age like outfits and stuff where it's just a giant plate armor. I think that would have been, doing a really gritty, fucked up version of that would have been something special. But there's a lot of good shit in that movie. Nehemia, thank you very much for $5. Slightly off topic, but would I be wrong to say that the West is basically just the Roman Empire and its legacy / inheritors? I think it's more complicated than that. I mean, I think that, like, by and large, England became the inheritor of, like, the Western culture, and then we kind of spun off from that in a weird way. Like, it's more complicated than that, but, like, if you want to look at the fall of Rome and be like, where did all this start? I think you could make an argument. I think you could make an argument there. Thank you, El Salvador, for $5. Nobody complained when Princess Andromeda, Ethiopian, was played by a white actress in Clash of the Titans, but complained about Black Helena Troy. Well, that was that's one of, all right, last thing, and then we're going to get back onto topic. Seeing people like Matt Walsh, because of course I know Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro are beefing over the Odyssey right now, because Matt Walsh is like, if you would have made any white person be in the role of an African, like, people would be upset. It's like, dog, they did for decades. Like, they made Cleopatra a white lady. A lot. Lost Light, thank you very much for gifting tier 1 subbies to, oh wait, yeah, Jose Kelly. Oh my god, a Prince of Persia movie is that Persians are white with British accents. Jesus. I forgot about that movie. I saw that movie when I was a wee god. I had to have been a freshman in high school, and I was like, oh no, it's a pretty good movie. I thought it was a pretty good movie. And then going back to any degree of watching it now, you're like, oh boy, they really fucking breakfast at Tiffany, Jake Gyllenhaal, huh? They really fucking oofta. Whoever the lady in that was, I don't remember what else, if she was in anything else ever. I just remember being like 11 and seeing that woman on screen with big hard eyes. Alrighty. Goblin Culinary, thank you for 25 bits. My biggest issue with these movies, no Amazons. Like, Penthesilea and Achilles had generational beef. Literally, the spearhead force of the Trojans fought Achilles to a stalemate, even killed his candy ass in some versions. Nary a whiff. Fair? Damn, Sputnik. I don't. I misread what you said, and I was like, wait. When he remade Infernal Affairs and cast, nobody cared about that, but that's what you said. I don't remember people losing their minds when Scorsese remade Infernal Affairs and cast a bunch of white dudes. Infernal Affairs, great fucking movie, but I mean, well, and so is The Departed. Anyway, so we're going to talk about Destiny's CRASHOUT because, as I'm no doubt sure many of you have seen or heard, the Destiny Hassan beef has boiled over in a big bad way because Tiny got his knickers in a twist when he got kicked out of a Young Democrats event that Hassan was speaking out because he very obviously planned to crash the event. He very publicly made plans and announced that he would go there and crash the event, or at least he would confront Hassan. And this is after, by the way, years, documented history of him noting multiple times that somebody should just kill Hassan. Somebody should harass Hassan in public. Somebody should take out Hassan. That it would be, and in his words, completely, what was the word he used? Completely valid or something like that. I guess that's not really verbatim. But yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. It has been it's been embarrassing to watch. Embarrassing to watch people like Hutch and Wick and I genuinely, these people that just, they don't have the most Hutch has been fucking known about in the last 6 months was when he said that he would have voted for Jeffrey Epstein if Epstein was a Democratic candidate. Because that is how much of a vote blue, no matter who person he is. Like, an entry fan, I wouldn't let Destiny anywhere near anything with Young in its name unless I had decent optics trained on him. See, here's the thing. That was the joke I was gonna make. I couldn't figure out how to word it, but I had a tweet lined up to be like, well, yeah, they know who Destiny is. They're not gonna let anybody around the Young Democrats. Does Hutch? I don't know. Does Hutch play with Burnt Peanut? That wouldn't surprise me. So, but first, chat. There have been a number of topics that have come up in the last week or two that I want to talk about on the trans beat, so to speak. And I want to talk a little bit about trans optics, particularly as it regards this recent thing that's gone viral from the New York Post, where a trans person is crashing out over being misgendered. And Ashley Webb, the intersex candidate that was made a focal point of the main Democrat race this last, when was it? A week or so ago? Very shortly after Graham Plattner dropped out. So if y'all don't know this, we'll get to this, we'll cover this, and then I have two additional stories from the trans youth side of things that are, I'm not gonna lie, they're kind of rough. They're gonna be kind of rough to go through. But first, I want to watch with all of you this video, because a lot of people in the last day or so, a lot of people looked at this and said glowy. They said Fed. They said op. They said, oh, damn, the CIA is really cutting back their wig budget. Because the optics of something like this could not be more perfectly suited for the minds of conservatives. This could not fit better the unhinged, unreasonable, unpassing ideal of trans people that every white nationalist, every fucking Project 2025, every dipshit transphobe, every TERF, every J.K. Rowling stan have in their head. This is a Wojak comes to life. And I haven't watched this yet, so maybe a little bit of a trigger warning. But the most important thing to know about, by the way, is that before we watch this, this happened a year ago. The footage here was from a real arrest. There is a real arrest record. However, the New York Post sat on it for over a year, unless they just got their hands on it because something was... But either way, this is not a recent story by any stretch. And that's the number one thing you should keep in your mind moving forward as you've seen this pop off for being viral. Because nobody gave a fuck when it happened. They give a fuck now. That they can... Yenzo, 628, I'm so glad you asked. Why is this story even newsworthy? Are they really making someone melt down a nationwide story? They're basically no better than schoolyard bullies. Exactly. Exactly. You've nailed it. Like, the New York Post is a propaganda rag. All right, give me a second. I need to go feed Miss because she's yelling at me. Alrighty. Here we go.
What's the problem? Why do you let those kids get away with this? They are not supposed to be here! If you don't lower your voice, I am going to put handcuffs on you and I'm going to take you to a Baker Act facility. Lower your voice. Try it.
So here's the thing. Already, I don't know how old this person is. Trans Florida student. Where? It doesn't say where it is. Does anybody know? Here we go. Body cam. Watch. Trans student tased, arrested over pronoun meltdown. So, by the way, if you are wondering, hey, why is this going around? That's why. Is because footage of a trans person being assaulted is what these fucking freaks want to see. That's it. This person's like 40. All right, well, Fox News doesn't want to load. Fuck you. University of Central Florida. All right, so technically a college student.
Are you threatening me?
Are you threatening me?
Can we get another unit to deal with Jay Lee here? He is having a breakdown.
So here's the thing. If you are in the midst of a mental health crisis of any stripe, this is kind of what it's going to look like. And I am going to level. I have a really hard time critiquing the behavior of anybody having a mental health crisis. The behavior I have no problem critiquing is of the people engaging them. If you are any kind of safety officer and you know what is or isn't going to escalate, especially when somebody has asked you, again, I didn't see the lead up to this, but somebody has asked you to gender them correctly. And if you do not do that, you are choosing to escalate. This is, to me, and people would be like, oh, well, of course, this is what the crazy trannies do. No. This is the same kind of cadence, the same panicked pattern of speech and thinking and pressure I have seen from young black people who are assailed by police officers, from people out in the street having a mental breakdown, from people overdosing, having a mental breakdown. I wouldn't hold I don't hold it against anybody to crack under society's pressure like this. And that we have such a cruel society now that understanding is completely it's non-existent. Like, you see somebody crashing out, you see somebody having a mental health crisis, and because they fit a narrative, people like the New York Post, and this is the important part, because they fit a narrative, people like the New York Post will then share and spread their likeness around and say, hey, everybody, come look at this person be tased. Now, if this was some white incel talking about how Stacey's and Foyds don't want to talk to him, yelling at a cop for telling him what to do, if this was the exact same tone of voice, the New York Post wouldn't care. They wouldn't care. But the most important thing, because I see a lot of people talking about, well, is this an op? Is this manufactured? Is this completely fake? Is this something? And kind of say it with me now. It kind of doesn't matter. Because even if it's fake, it's going to have its intended effect. The intended effect was to spread this person's image far and wide so that the next time, this picture on the screen, the next time you say something on social media about how you've been treated unfairly for being trans or queer or gay or gender nonconforming, people will send you a soy jack for this. That's why this was shared around. Because we live in a carnival of cruelty. And this shit is entertaining for people like this. And you need to understand it. You need to understand why these pieces of information are being disseminated. Because a lot of that, and this is going to come to the next point that we're going to talk about, Ashley Webb, the intersex main candidate who is running right now to take Graham Plattner's place. Because we need to have a genuine conversation about optics and what we can do to counteract bad optics, especially as trans people. I'm not going to say Sarah McBride is the best ideal of a trans person. And I want to approach this topic with some nuance. Because multiple things can be true at the same time. That somebody like this can be entirely valid for existing, can be entirely valid for presenting the way they do, can be entirely valid for being so fucking frustrated that they crash out like this. And those are normal human behaviors. But the other half of that has to be acknowledged, that if this is something that happens in front of a camera, a trans person is going to be targeted. That we cannot simply... It's this weird imbalance of liberalism and conservatism that has gotten us to this place, right? Where let's talk about wokeness 1.0, right? Where in wokeness 1.0, we heard time and time again, and this was where so many people just of genuinely, I believe, good intent, let a lot of shit get through and let a lot of shit slide that was then able to be used against queer and trans people. The amount of times that you've heard, like, oh, well, what about this Harvard professor who says that maps are an entirely fucking, what's the word I'm looking for? Valid identity or whatever. And it's like, no. That wasn't, nope. That wasn't anybody actually in the trans or queer movement. But now everybody else has to deal with that shit. Everybody has to deal with these optics nukes, right? Pibblepunk, when the enemy are literally manufacturing optics on our behalf, how is that our fault? I will get to that, because I'm not saying it's our fault. I'm not saying it's their fault. It's not. But again, two things need to be understood at the same time, is that it is not blaming somebody if their behavior gets a target painted on. Again, it's not the person crashing out that's to blame. It's the people responding and reacting that you should blame, that you should point and say, these are the people, you are fucked up to do this. You are fucking wrong to do this. Respectability politics are just a game they're playing to extract from people. 100 million perfectly behaved trans doctors and supermodels will be ignored so long as they find one scraggly. Yeah. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about next. But I want to preface this conversation with Ashley Webb, because I got it. I get it. I don't need to watch this whole thing. We don't need to see the whole fucking thing. We don't need to see somebody getting tased. But I want to watch this, and this is from Sky News Australia, because it is a fucking pile of shit. Another right-wing rag. We literally are not allowed to react. Yeah, that's the fucking game. Like, and I'm not going to say it doesn't fucking suck. But we need to understand that the reason why conservatives for so long have seemingly continued to get this groundswell from normal people is because they're winning at an optics game. Not because they have good optics, but because they are able to very succinctly sell their worldview to people who are otherwise uninformed and otherwise disengaged. All right, let me put it to you like this, for example. Completely normal, politically median voter in fucking podunk middle of the country. Just a cis male white dude who might have some black friends. They don't have any real racial animus. They don't have any strong beliefs about national borders or security or war, any of that shit. They go through their life. They work hard. They try and put food on their table with their family. They have fucking barbecue cooks out every 4th of July, and they go see all the Marvel movies in theaters, right? Like, that's the median American voter. Somebody who is, by and large, too busy with all the other bullshit to actually lock in to what's happening politically. There are a lot of people like that. And when you have these kind of, let's keep using the term optics nuke, what you have is the way that's then disseminated to people like them to change their opinions on things. So what goes from being a, like that thing we just saw, a Twitter video being shared around by a right-wing rag, that's going to make its way onto Joe Rogan. That's going to make its way onto Joe being like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, yeah, hey, dog. Can you not just do that, like, right next to the mic, you dork? Thank you. She takes her bone and walks away. I go to take her bone from her, and no, don't just come sit down over here. Here, go over there. You friggin' dork. She's just like, but I'm so comfy over here. Anyway, yeah, just the kind of guy wants to go. I just want to kiss my fish. That kind of shit. And they see something like this. The person who has very little, if any, exposure to trans people, right? And they go online and they see this person having a meltdown. And they hear Joe Rogan talking about it. It's like, yeah, no, this is crazy. And they hear all of these other unsubstantiated stories and rumors and fucking shit Joe Rogan will say that just gets reframed and seen as the truth. They're like, yeah, I know what you hear about the litter boxes in schools. Because the average American who is disengaged from politics, things will just trickle into their fucking brain, and that's what they believe now. Most people are too fucking busy to go, you know what, actually, I think I will do a research paper on the litter boxes in schools when I get home. It's like they go, wow, that's crazy. Obviously, this person wouldn't be talking to me if they didn't know anything. Obviously, Joe Rogan wouldn't have idiots on and call them experts. So this is how having these optics, having these things out and about is how you get people who are of, I will say, neutral will, who are just mostly neutral in all things, just going through their lives. They want, odds are, same things as you and I, who are not harboring in their hearts the kind of dark malice and hatred of somebody like Stephen Miller, who I think would drown a puppy in front of his child. Not the craven, completely morally destitute mind of somebody like Trump, who I think would drown a puppy in front of his child for a nickel. Most people, they just go about their shit. And these ideas are then presented passively to them. And they have very little when it comes to a demographic like trans people, which are so... The amount of hysteria around us so vastly, seismically outsizes our role in society and the number of us around. So there are even less people out there to counteract those narratives in a way that that person can understand, in a way that until that person has, and again, this is where it all trickles down to, where this hypothetical person 5-10 years ago, if their kid came out as trans, same circumstances, same upbringing and everything, 5-10 years ago, their kid comes out as trans, this person would probably meet them with support. Nowadays, they are in these spaces where leftists, libs, Democrats have not been highlighting optics, but conservatives have. So now you take that same person, completely detached by a decade of the propaganda that they've subliminally been imbibing, the shit that's just been whispered into their ears, stuff that's made it around the internet, like that New York Post thing. And so now when that same kid, same fucking thing comes out, what are they going to say? They're going to say, oh no, not my kid. Oh no, this is just a part of this gender indoctrination, all this shit. And so all of this isn't to say that we shouldn't have trans people visible. but that we need to understand at the same time, if we want to win an optics war, if we want to put up a fucking front on an optics war, wokeness 1.0 doesn't work anymore. We cannot just let everything, and this sucks. I want to be clear. This sucks. What I'm about to say fucking sucks. I hate it. I hate the idea that people cannot just be who they are and be respected. But that's the reality of the world we live in. We live in a world where aesthetics triumphs over damn near everything else. And the left, the progressives, and trans people have very little to show in the way of aesthetics right now. Sorry, give me 1 second. Before we dig into this, I'm gonna go through this. Imperfect Rebus, thank you for 27 months. Hey, Dead Domain, looking cute and woke despite the travesty of our work. Always woke. The Anime Mega Freak, thank you for $2. Cruelty is very much profitable nowadays for them. It is. It is. El Salve, thank you for $5. My country, Australia, Sky News is basically Fox News. Unfortunately, boomers can easily use YouTube and watch Fox News. My uncle is one of them. That's having a local Fox News and then being like, nah, I want to get the shit from the source is crazy. Crazy. Sorry, there's a couple people chatting right now. All right, so let's go into this and talk about the optics of a trans intersex person. Because this is something that I haven't watched this whole performance. I watched a brief section of it, but I'm going to be honest, this is something I've had to kind of unpack my feelings on over the last couple days. Because my initial gut reaction is, fuck it, leave people alone. Let people be who they're going to be. Who cares? If somebody's not, like, do not hold it against somebody if they aren't particularly good at speaking in front of an audience. Do not hold it against somebody if they are of goodwill. Because here's the crazy part. Ashley Webb, here's her Ballotpedia. I think she is probably a little bit too much of a lib for me to fully get behind. But when you go and look at the Ballotpedia Candidate Connection Survey in 2026, they're pretty good fucking answers. Like, they get to the point. This person sells herself better than any conservative politician I've fucking seen. Like, listen to this shit. 3 key messages of your campaign. Bullet points. Healthcare reform that puts patients first. I've spent years navigating a healthcare system that too often protects itself before it protects the people it serves. And I'll bring that firsthand knowledge to fighting for reimbursement and staffing models that give clinicians real time with patients. Who's gonna fucking say no to that? That is a across the aisle fucking issue. Rural infrastructure investment at a time when so many rural counties are having to shutter hospitals, are facing all-time shortages in staff and supplies. These things right here, I don't have any problem with the candidate talking about this shit. Proposing a new highway corridor connecting Farmington and Skowhegan to the interstate system, closing a gap that hurts emergency response times and regional commerce in Franklin and Somerset counties. A government that answers the phone. Public service should mean showing up for constituents, not partisan performance. I bring a practical, detail-driven approach to accountability in Washington. Enough said. Based on that, again, might be a little bit of a lib, but based on that right up alone, this person has my fucking vote. However, I am not the adjudicator of what a good or bad candidate is. I would love to live in a world where people were voted into office based on the goodwill they have for a job, based on their want to be a public servant, and put the servant part first. to help serve the actual public. Because this is the thing not enough people really talk about. This was a huge line when I was coming up about conservatives being like, you work for the government, you don't work for the government, you work for the people, blah, blah, blah. And they just don't give a fuck about that anymore. But I do. I think that's a pretty good thing to just have. But the optics of the rest of the candidate do matter. They do. And if you are not going to go up and be a Trumpian-ish bull in a china shop to disrupt the system so much that people cannot help but look at you, if you are not making yourself the spectacle in a way that many leftists, many progressives, many liberals are just anathema to, they don't want to, then you are not competing in the modern attention economy. You're not. It fucking sucks, but it's true. November, what's so scary about this is how easily it turns your average Joe, everyday Joe who's pretty neutral and has never met a trans person, and his first exposure is men and women's sports. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Man of 1,000 names, thank you for following. Canadian Goose, thank you for $10. Would aesthetics also kind of play into Hassan wearing the Zhongshan suit, or is that completely different and people just trying to cherry pick the aesthetics of it for rage bait? I think part of the reason, I mean, like, I don't fucking know why he did that. Maybe he's talked about it, but I think part of the reason he did that was that A, it's a nice suit, and B, I think it was a little bit for rage bait. I think it was a little bit for, like, personally, maybe don't. Maybe when we're trying as a broad left movement to bring more liberals and centrists over, maybe we don't need to have the conversation about Mao right now. You know? Like, I feel that was a whole fucking unforced error, honestly, for optics. Like, genuinely. But at the same time, I think that the same people making a big fuss out of it, making a huge row out of it, we're going to do that regardless. Nehemia, thank you for $5. Fun idea for how a Dem president could deal with Fox in Hungary. The new PM made the state propaganda / news channel air an apology for lying for Orban. Our Dems would never. Yeah, and Duke Jahu, I think that's part of it too. Personally, I think if you're that put off by a suit, you weren't going to be brought over to our side anyway. Like, he doesn't fucking... People being like, oh, did you know Mao killed this many people? It's like, okay. Like, he didn't go around killing all the farmers at the same fucking time. And also, kind of what's happened, because China's kind of whipping our ass right now. It's just, it's one of those things that is completely paying attention to the wrong issue. Like, I have a hard time even caring about it that much, because I would look at it and be like, yeah, maybe don't wear the Mao suit, but honestly, I don't care that much. I don't care. Don't know if you covered it. There was an article a couple days ago about trans women in U.S. rugby. Rugby teams refused to comply with a ban on trans women. I did not, but that sounds great. You think? All right, so I wanted to go to that to talk. From what I have heard and what I've seen, Ashley Webb is not a good candidate for a number of reasons. And we do not do the trans, because here's the thing. The reason I started this conversation with the New York Post is to show that these motherfuckers will jump at anything, no matter how inconsequential, if it allows them to perpetuate stereotypes. Because guess what? You can find stereotypes out there. That's not fucking hard to do. But we need to be aware of how those things will be used against us. This isn't to say that, oh, you shouldn't wear your Amazon Basics or what the fuck ever, or that there's a wrong way to be trans, or that you should that passing is the goal, because it's not. I don't believe that. But we live in a cruel world, and I do believe people need to protect themselves and each other, and that cruelty is part of that. To be aware of it, to understand it, where it comes from, so you, yourself, and the people around you can be best prepared to avoid it. Anyway, let's go into this.
Now, I know we all think our politicians are pretty bad, but seriously, it could be worse. Let me introduce you to a woman vying to become the Democrat Senate candidate for Maine in the USA. Have a listen to Ashley Webb, who's asked during a candidates debate what qualifies him to be a good senator.
Or her.
Ashley Webb, what qualifications do you have to serve in the U.S. Senate?
Oh, I ran for office several times. Didn't win, but I did run. And then I'm a songwriter, and then I write my own books. And then I suppose my transparency, I wouldn't lie to the people, and I wouldn't deceive the people like we're being deceived right now. Like, we get lied to, smoke and mirrors, like what's going on with ICE, pretending like these victims did something wrong. Like, that's unacceptable. And I suppose the biggest thing is, like, I'm just an angry citizen now, and if I got elected, I'd be an angry senator, and I think that would probably be their worst nightmare.
So, Michelle, you're...
So, a lot of people talked about when this came out, it received the same, the same shellacking from Jesse Waters and these depraved demons like Matt Walsh, and that doesn't matter to me. But I saw the thing that brought it to my attention was actually other trans people commenting on this. And some people said that this is an optics nuke. And I have to be like, yeah. Because here's the thing, Banana Brains, what she was saying, completely normal. It is not, however, a good idea to have somebody go up right now when any trans person will get a light on them who is not, because here's the thing, less than her appearance, less than any other aspect of her, the thing I think that most people are using as a cudgel is a lack of security in speaking. I don't know if she has no experience speaking in front of people. I don't know if she has nervousness with crowds. A lot of people do. But, and as Tartan McHaggis says, this is somebody who seems like has had no real media training. And that's the problem. I don't like the idea that we're in a place where only the most passing, only the most quote unquote optimal, only the most cis-het conforming people in, because I'm not that. I'm not that. I'm non-binary. I'm trans feminine, but I'm non-binary. I don't do voice training very intentionally. I could, I just don't want to. So when I see somebody like this, my thought isn't, oh, look at this person that doesn't pass or, is dressing in a way I don't like. My thought is, we're in the same fucking boat, sister. And I hate that. Not that I'm in the same boat with somebody else, but that so many of us at any moment can falter, can trip up. And that becomes the face of their new narrative. Yeah, no, Quiet Kitsune, not only does she have to dance well, she has to do it backwards and in heels. Unfortunately, that's how it is. Yeah. And that is the real problem here. When all of the fucking preamble is to get to this point, because I did not want to mock Ashley. I do not want to turn this into a, point and laugh session, because it's not that. I need people to understand why this would get criticized and what people can do in the future. Dross fits, yeah. Looks bad, needs better fit and stylist, yeah. It sucks. November YK, it's incredibly transmedicalistic that passing is the right way. And that's what I'm saying. I am not that. I am not transmedicalist. Kippy, only cis white dudes can look like schlubs or average. Fucking, yeah. Also this Dr. Evil ass Australian mug.
For our politician on the panel, are you convinced by that speech? Do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, that's the best stunt.
Solar bonk, so I should just wait to transition and just boy mode the rest of my life because me not passing would be bad optics? Nope, I didn't say that at all. I didn't say that at all. Are you planning to be a Senate candidate? Because A, no, that's not what I'm saying. Ted Schilling, 3223. I wish people would stop judging optics so much, pay more attention to message. Hey, me fucking too. Like, don't get me wrong. Hey, let me tell something to you, okay? If I was not trans or queer, if I was just a regular straight cis white dude, I guarantee I'd have more fans. Because people like to gravitate to what they see themselves in. That's true. Somebody just talked about how seeing somebody who's kind or courageous, like you want to go support them. Yeah. There aren't a lot of people in the stream space like me. And non-binary people kind of famously aren't even like each other. So I get that. It's... Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, the optics. Yep. Looks matter and everything. This just feels like a weird conversation for you to be spending so much time on this. I think it's an important one. How many other creators are talking about this? The Minist, I think you mean they aren't. Respectability politics suck. I do not think we should lean into them unless absolutely necessary. And at the same time, there's a reason we all hold our breath every time there's a mass shooting and hope that they aren't identified as trans. Yeah, the feminist, I got you. I got you. Yeah, I mean, that's true. But anyway, why am I spending so much time on conservative nonsense? I don't think it's conservative nonsense or irrelevant. I'm a politically active trans person. It's not irrelevant to me because let me show you two other stories that while everybody was talking about those two things that we just talked about, while countless people have talked cruelly about these easy targets, these two stories have gone painfully underserved. From the Concord Monitor, my daughter wanted to play soccer. Adults turned the game into a political weapon. My daughter Parker started playing soccer at 4 years old. This fall at 16, she quit. Not because she stopped loving the game, because the adults around it made loving the game impossible. Parker is transgender. She told us in so many little ways from toddlerhood. And then at 13, well, since his laundry is coming out, I probably should too. Sorry, I'm reading the chat real quick because there's a couple different conversations as always. Awesome, oh hell yeah. I'm glad you didn't get hurt, but good on you for standing on business. I want to be clear about what happened next because I think many people imagine trans kids getting hormones handed out like Halloween candy. The reason I wanted to, am I okay? Yeah, I'm just reading the chat. Jesus. The reason I wanted to start with this is because this one, the mother addresses the narratives that she's heard. The mother addresses the shit that is said about her kid. And the stories about trans people that aren't being told are the ones that counteract all of these fucking narratives. The ones that counteract every bit of bad publicity, every bad faith meltdown taken out of fucking context for the hack propaganda merchants at places like New York Post. It took a year of work with her therapist, her pediatrician, and a gender clinic before Parker started puberty blockers, and another year before hormone therapy was added. Baseline testing, letters of support, and approval of both her parents. 2 years, 5 professionals, one carefully made medical decision. By the time she started hormone therapy, her therapist wrote she no longer saw evidence of anxiety or depression in our daughter. The care was working. Meanwhile, Parker played soccer with girls she'd played alongside since age 4, under a school athletic policy that had handled this question for years without incident. In 9th grade, on a high school team that lost every single game at 5'6" and 108 pounds, my daughter was neither the tallest nor the strongest player on her own team, let alone a threat to everyone else. Suddenly, her right to keep doing what she'd done since kindergarten was up for debate in the New Hampshire state capitol. We testified before Senate, House, and Senate committees. I wrote a letter to then Governor Sununu every day for 90 days. Stories about Parker, facts about trans kids in sports. 90 letters, not a single reply. HB 1205 passed, and a law aimed at a problem that didn't exist banned my daughter from playing with her friends. Throughout it all, her teammates and coach were clear they wanted her to stay on the team. Yet what she won in court, adults took from her on the sidelines. Parents complained on Facebook that my twig of a daughter endangered their children. Opposing players refused to high-five her. One team's parents wore wristbands marked XX and refused a referee's request to remove them until police escorted them off the field. Parker didn't fully understand what was happening. She only knew the game had been stopped because of her. Classmates who saw her on the news yelled at her to use your man voice. And 3 weeks into her junior season, my daughter, a kid who danced through warm-ups, who rode the bus home with her teammates even when a parent offered ride, quit. She told us later she couldn't stand dragging her team and coaches into a circus that adults had made of playing a children's game. When I nag Parker about the clothes on her bedroom floor, she has a stock reply, "Let me live." She's being a teenager, not an activist, but she has said the whole thing. She doesn't want to hurt anyone on a soccer field or in a bathroom, and she can't make anyone's child's transgender. She wants what your kid wants, to play, to be left alone, to live her one life. No signature on an executive order or Supreme Court ruling can change who my daughter is, but it can change what her life costs her. And that part isn't up to her, it's up to the rest of us. And so the thing, again, long preface to get to this point. Talking about optics, talking about how they're used, is that after so long, this is what the story has become. Ray Lucky 11, yeah, I can see your message. Idaho pushed anti-trans laws for years, then a teen died. The life and death of May Pollard, 16, provides a window into the tragic effect that legislation and political rhetoric have had on trans people across America. Again, these are the kinds of things that TERFs will tell you don't happen, that people at the Washington Post will make fun of. Every 41% joke, the cruelty starts with wanting more of this. Canadian Goose, sorry, DD, I don't know the meaning of the XX wristbands. It's XX as in female chromosomes. After May Pollard died on a late January morning, a detective asked her parents a question. And this is July 18, 2026. This is fairly recent. And these two stories, one of which was an op-ed, and then this story you see on NBC News, didn't break through the mainstream. I didn't see anybody talking about them on my timeline outside of other trans people. A detective asked her parents a question: had anyone wanted to hurt her? A lot of America, her mother answered. Less than an hour earlier, Elise Thorpe found her daughter's body inside their home, called 911, and sobbed as she tried to revive her. May, an avid poet and gamer, had been struggling and increasingly withdrawn. Yeah, this fucking content warning, this is going to be a rough one. Now at 16, she was gone, and the detective from Boise wanted to know what Elise meant. May's father answered instead. There's a huge amount of animosity every single day thrown at trans kids. Joseph Pollard replies, voice rising. The whole fucking country, the whole fucking administration, every single fucking day. His raw fury came from the years of pain he and Elise watched May endure since she came out as a trans girl. She avoided eating or drinking at school for fear she would need to go to the bathroom. She panicked when she had to use the one for boys. She talked of hurting herself if she couldn't start taking estrogen. She hated how state laws highlighted the only way she was different when she longed to fit in. It was more than what any kid should have to go through. As May navigated the already overwhelming emotions most teenagers feel, dozens of conservative states in the Trump admin enacted measures defining sex something unchangeable, limiting transition-related care for minors as well as some adults, and barring girls and women from playing on female sports teams. In Idaho alone, within the last few years of May's life, state legislators proposed more than 4 dozen bills aimed at LGBTQ rights, and Brad Little signed 15 into law. Many targeted youth, banning trans minors from getting treatment like purity blockers and hormone therapy, and prohibiting classroom instruction on sexual orientation. State lawmakers who supported the bills have said their intent is to protect children. Healthcare for trans kids hasn't been studied enough, they said, and during school, students shouldn't be exposed to information about sexual orientation and gender in ways that parents find inappropriate. Last summer, she joined a lawsuit under the pseudonym Jane Doe to challenge a state law that banned trans kids in K-12 school from using bathrooms or locker rooms assigned with their gender identities. The law had forced her to use gender-neutral bathrooms at school, effectively outing her. I don't want people to know I'm trans without my consent, even students who might be friendly. I find being forced to use a separate bathroom ostracizing. I feel like I'm being treated like this other kind of thing. Throughout the last few years, advocates and doctors have camped outside of state representative offices and stayed late at Capitol buildings, including in Idaho, to oppose anti-trans bills, sharing stories of trans friends and loved ones who attempted to or died by suicide. Research has shown they told lawmakers that trans youth are at an increased risk of self-harm, especially when they don't have access to treatment like hormone therapy. Being trans, they stress, does not make a person inherently more prone to suicide, but the climate they face can pose a threat to mental health. We tell the legislators that, and they dismiss it. I guess they think it's hyperbole, or they think it's hysteria, or they think it's an acceptable outcome. Probably some mix of those things. So I don't understand why there is an unwillingness to connect these laws to these outcomes. I was right there from the start. It was right there from the start. Ray Lucky, thank you for 8 bits. Canadian Goose, thank you again. May came out to her dad during her 8th grade year. She texted him one day out of the blue explaining she identified as a girl. He texted back immediately. I support you 100%, he remembers telling her. I want you to be who you are, and it's not a problem with me. Over the course of several months, May slowly came out to her mom over a series of evening conversations. One night, she reclined against a pillow on her twin bed, Pokemon stuffies decorating the surrounding shelves, and told her mom she had a decision to make. May talked about her gender, but also what sounded like contemplations of self-harm. Her parents supported her switching schools, starting therapy, changing her name, and developing what her mom described as her signature goth cottagecore style. One of her favorite looks included a pink, long-sleeved button-up shirt with a lace collar and pockets paired with a skirt and black high-top Converse. She made a tradition of attending PAX West, an annual gaming conference, with her dad. May would shed her quiet and reserved manner, teaming up with strangers for tournaments. Last year, she went in cosplay as a character from one of her favorite games, posing for selfies when, at home, she wouldn't allow her family to take photos of her. The treatment brightened May. Her mom said it seemed like for the first time in a long time, May wanted to live, but anytime there was even a small delay in filling her prescription, she would become more anxious and withdrawn. They joined a monthly support group for trans kids and parents through the Boise Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. After hearing during the meetings that May was struggling, Emmy Irwin, another trans girl, reached out and they quickly became best friends. They bonded over a shared desire to be authentic. Neither of us, Emmy said, had to explain ourselves to the other. When the bathroom law took effect, it faced an immediate challenge. They sued on behalf of students, claiming the measure was unconstitutional. Federal District Court declined to do so, but the students appealed. Liliana Rauer, one of the plaintiffs, experienced overwhelming relief. It just took away a lot of concerns that I have to worry about when I'm at school, like how much I'm drinking, if I need to miss class so I can be able to go to the gender-neutral bathroom. But the reprieve didn't last. A second panel of Ninth Circuit judges reversed the decision, siding with the state's argument that it was justified in treating trans students differently. May found the option stigmatizing. She was tired of feeling starved and parched by the time her afternoon classes rolled around. She had the slightest stomach upset she would miss school altogether. Elise said she warned May's teachers about what was happening during parent-teacher conferences, but the instructors didn't know what to do. May told the court that one of the gender-neutral restrooms became known as the trans bathroom. Quote, while I'm a transgender, I don't view it as a defining feature of who I am as a person. I just want to fit in. It is upsetting to think I may have to go through the rest of high school without access to something as basic as the ability to use the same restroom as everyone else. May and Emmy last spoke on the evening of January 26. That night, Elise arrived home late after work, working both of her jobs, and briefly saw May when she came out of her room to take a shower. She said May smiled and told her she had a good day, then went to bed. The next morning, Elise woke up early and made May breakfast. She took it upstairs to May's room, only to find it empty. She screamed, saw that May had left a note on her desk, and hoped that she had just run away again. She called 911 to report May missing, while her partner dialed May's dad. Joseph called and called May, begging her to respond. Elise tore through the house looking for May before she found her in a downstairs bedroom. But it was too late. Joseph, who lives a few blocks away, heard the police sirens just as Elise's partner called him again, told him he needed to come to the house. In the weeks after May's death, her parents faced overwhelming tasks, handling cremation services, planning a funeral, figuring out how to continue life without their youngest child. And Elise had another matter to resolve, her daughter's pending lawsuit. She filed a declaration in federal court in February explaining what had happened and referring to May, who had been anonymous in the suit, as Jane. The pain, heartbreak, and agony losing Jane have been devastating beyond words for me and my family. While I may never have certainty about all the things that ultimately led to Jane's death, I know that one stressor in her life was her struggle to fit in socially as a trans girl. The bathroom law, she wrote, was part of the struggle. May had only been one of only 2 remaining plaintiffs because students can no longer participate once they graduate. As a result, May's lawyers moved to dismiss the case in May. Idaho Attorney General Raul Labrador declared victory in a press release. Quote, "From the district courts to the Ninth Circuit, we defended Idaho's right to protect students' privacy in bedrooms and bathrooms and locker rooms." The press release didn't acknowledge May's death. May's friends and family have felt her absence in a million little moments. Her empty, untouched room, her spot at the support group, which now lights a blue candle with her name etched onto it before every meeting. The rear seat in Elise's car where May would sit whenever they drove to her brother's college in Oregon. Daily traditions have ended. Every morning, May rode to school with her dad, who kept a tin of mints in his car. As soon as she got in, he'd take a mint, and May would have one. The tin has sat untouched in Joseph's car with 2 mints left since January. One for him and one for May. May planned to potentially go to community college for psychology, and her dad said she could have helped so many with her empathy. Quote, "She had a lot to give to this world," Joseph said, "whether she was trans or not. This world, not just my world, the world would have been a better place with her in it." In her grief, Elise has continued her advocacy, pushing back on the laws that weighed on her daughter and will continue to weigh on others. On March 31st, which is Transgender Day of Visibility, the governor signed a law making it a crime for trans people to use restrooms in line with their gender identities in government-owned buildings and private businesses across Idaho. She stood outside of his office holding a small stuffed sloth and a photo of May. Hey, fuck war and fuck ice. Are you talking about me? Who's talking about abortion? Who? I'm so confused. Yeah, Brad Little is a certified piece of shit. Nahamid, thank you very much for $10. Not trans, but I've struggled with suicidal ideation. It's fucking miserable, and only people who deserve to struggle with it, those who spread the kind of hate that leads to this. Love you all. I'm sorry you've had to deal with that. Oh, they're trying to distract you from my topic? Okay. All right. I will be right back. I gotta go feed Lady really quick. And then we will get on to the Destiny shit. I guess I'll to wrap up the this is the effect. This is the intended effect, by the way. And these are the stories that need to be boosted, that need to be told. And I don't have a fucking solution. I don't. How do you change the mind of a system that is so intent on bringing pain and suffering to a group that so few seem to want to defend? I don't know. All right, I'll be right back, chat. We'll talk in a sec. Alrighty, chat. Ray Lucky, thank you for more bits. Animal Farm, is it not capital identity politics that is responsible for the forever othering of whatever chosen groups on the menu? Is it class consciousness and we need to bridge the bigotry? Sorry. Cough right into the mic. Huh. Yeah, I think class consciousness is a big part of it. Because a lot of the narratives around trans people, and this goes for any kind of out group, right? A lot of the narratives around trans people, it comes down to them being pitted against or depicted as a threat to one person or another, right? Like, it comes down to people saying, oh, your kids are going to be in danger if a trans person plays on their sports team. Your kid or your wife is going to be in danger if a trans person can go into the bathroom. And a lot of community building needs to be built on the idea that, yeah, we do share the same struggles, ultimately. Like, yeah, Quiet Kitsune, we are more similar than we are different. And it's very frustrating to see people. It's very frustrating to be in this like superposition where you have to give a fuck about optics while still understanding that like Ashley Webb is not necessarily on paper to the median voter is not going to be a good looking candidate if you show them that 1 minute clip. But the ideas that she's espousing are entirely different than how that's being represented. Where you go and you look at, like we showed on her Ballotpedia, and you have somebody who understands the role she wants to play, understands, and is so vastly different from the way that she is being depicted. And it's very frustrating that the thing that takes precedent over somebody of goodwill, somebody who is probably completely able to do the job, somebody who wants to have infrastructure realignment to help serve the people, who wants to be held accountable, wants to work as a public servant. And the thing that gets fucking talked about is, oh, she's not great at speaking. And I hate that that is a genuine consideration politically we have to fucking make. Like we have to, you have to sit back and be like, yeah, well, it didn't look good. And nobody pays attention to the arguments or the fucking ideas. And as a result, the ideas that get passed around are the easiest to consume, which is just cruelty. And this is where it ends. This what we're seeing here with May is where that shit leads to. Buddha Bebop, Webb's answer was awkward, but it rang of sincerity. Yeah, and I want to make sure I'm not. As much as, yeah, I do think that Webb needs a stylist and PR training, and like I think anybody kind of needs that, especially when you are going and representing yourself as a trans person in public, but more so that you are representing a incredibly contentious race that you want to be the Dem candidate on, or you are throwing your hat into the ring. Like we just got done with Grand Platinum. We don't need more bad PR on this one, you know? But it's frustrating to even have to consider that. Like it's so fucking annoying because I would love to be like, yeah, no, pick the person who's best for the job, but that's not the fucking world we live. That's obvious. That's obviously not the world we live in. Look at who's in the fucking White House. Like we do not live in the world of the person. Like we don't live in a meritocracy. We don't live in the, oh, wouldn't you like it if this person had the best? Like no. And maybe that's the big change we need to make. Maybe that's the fucking thing we need to be able to focus on and start changing more than anything is the emphasis on aesthetics. But we can't just do it through vibes. We can't just do it through fucking, you know, like woke 1.0. Literally everybody is always welcome, and like we have to act like there are no broader social stigmas. We have to act like everything is equal, but it's not. I would love to live in that world, but that's not the one we live in. Mystic Miasma, I live in the UK and am genuinely concerned for queer people as a whole, and especially trans people who have reformed, managed to get in. Trans rights over here are already being eroded like hell. I'm so scared for all of my siblings over in Britain. Damon Burrito, we're not doing GOP primaries, though. The DSA people have broken one rule that you need to have party money to win. What if she's right? What if someone just tries telling the truth? my answer to that, because like you're not wrong, and I think Mom Donnie is kind of the golden key to look at. And what is the one thing everybody fucking said about Mom Donnie? It wasn't necessarily that he has all these. Oh, the thing, of course, people are saying, oh, the same. Let me put it like this: the same people besmirching Mom Donnie for being a communist, for being an Islamist, for being a fucking jihadi, or what the fuck ever dumb bullshit they're gonna make up. Those same people are gonna have all the same transphobic rhetoric for Ashley Webb. The problem, the like gulf of difference between Mom Donnie and a candidate like Ashley Webb is that Mom Donnie looks fucking good. And that's not to say that Ashley Webb doesn't look good, but Mom Donnie is a camera personality. Like, he's got swagger, he's got charm, he's got charisma. Have you ever seen him like riff off of a crowd? Like, the dude, somebody can throw out a hate thing and he'll just like fucking pop a zinger. Like he's at the Comedy Cellar. And it's that kind of stuff, the stuff that really, and it's like Trump kind of too, it can't really, not that it can't be taught, but it's a very hard thing to teach. Like Trump, and people in the comments have been like, well, what about Trump? Trump isn't a good speaker. No, but Trump is, and no matter what you want to say about it, he has a charisma. I think it's fucking gross. He has a very Nurglish charisma, but he's got a charisma. He's able to play enough to a crowd to whip them up into a fervor. And Mom Donnie is kind of like his Wario, or I guess his Mario. Right? Where a lot of those things have been inverted in a more positive way. But I think, like, there is a there is a significant part of Mom Donnie's appeal that was based on the fact that he is a good-looking dude with a hot wife who can tell jokes and looks good in a suit and on camera. Like, and does that suck? Kinda. We're lucky he happened to be a really fucking good candidate. But time and time again, this is the American way, baby. What is, like, people looking at Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom has a terrible fucking record. Gavin Newsom is a goddamn snake in the grass. But Gavin Newsom looks relatively fit and looks better in a suit. So people want to fucking push him out to the front because it's a war of aesthetics. Yeah, and Theminus, that, like, he was also running against the embodiment of everything people hate right now. Like, that is also true. Like, the New York electoral battleground was a real... it wasn't a layup for Mom Donnie because it was not a sure thing, by the way. But it was an opportunity for certain. Yeah, and I think that too. Psyche or Sletchy Lesh, Mom Donnie is just charismatic in a more universal way. I think that explains a lot about Mom Donnie's appeal. Outlaw Witch. Clavicular is actually a really great example. Unfortunately, one thing Clavicular was right on is that people do care way more about looks and aesthetic. Like, Clavicular came on the scene. Clavicular is somebody who has done nothing. The content he makes is just him with a camera crew following around. He doesn't make or do or investigate like anything. He walks around. He looks... Sorry. Excuse me. God. he goes on fucking expensive vacations and bitches about cheeseburgers or whatever the fuck, right? But Clavicular is like an LA6 on a good day. And Clavicular somehow, by being Peter Thiel's boy toy, managed to get in this position of representing looks maxing and being super popular. He is a completely empty vessel. There's nothing. I've been rewatching Evangelion, and I look at Clavicular, and I wonder, does he have the same struggles with like existence and identity as somebody like Rey, who is literally a empty clone made for somebody else's like devices? And that's what I see in Clavicular, like just fucking dead eyes, right? But he technically looks good enough on camera that not only did he make it big by being with a bunch of fucking Nazis and pedophiles like Andrew Tate and Nick Fuentes and all these people, but then a couple months later, after numerous controversies, after he was singing Heil Hitler, he was welcomed with fucking open arms and arguably honeypotted by the IDF, by the occupation forces, given the grand tour of Israel. And like that's the fucking that's the whole kit and caboodle right there. Like, looks can get you to a point. Aesthetics can go so far that you can, and granted, look, the ethno-nationalism of Netanyahu's regime isn't so dissimilar from Nazi Germany. So ideologically, they're not that dissimilar. But people will tell you they are. And that can be entirely circumvented if somebody just looks good enough, I guess. Isn't Rey a clone of Shinji's mom's? She is a partial clone of Shinji's mom with DNA from Lilith, if I'm remembering right. Rakish tilt. Leftists think everything is work, but draw the line at drugs. All right. So let's do. I found these. These are really good. Little catch ups. Let's call. This was from Cherry? Just talking. Destiny is actively being sued for sending revenge porn of a college student to a 10-day-old Twitter account in 2022. He also sent revenge porn of his wife to the same account a week earlier. Within 24 hours of first messaging them back. Now, I do want to say about Destiny, since my piece came out last year, I have not been. Oh, let me actually read this first because this is valuable insight. Thank you very much, Nehemiah, for $5. Israel accepting Clav is nothing new. They don't care about anti-Semitism and are always willing to work with anti-Semites like Steve Bannon and others. Yeah, that, like I was saying, doesn't surprise me. It is very much on paper a thing that people would be like, oh, we absolutely disavow this anti-Semitism. But like the second they thought they could use him for a PR gig, like absolutely. Solar Lander, thank you for 33 months in a row. What is Destiny's real name again? Stephen Bennell II, I believe. Ugh. Oh no, this is the same lawsuit. This is the same lawsuit. I was talking with people in LA and Destiny ended up coming up. Not because of anything I said, but because we were talking about some of the videos I've done in the past, and they knew I did a video on Destiny, and so I got to hear a story about multiple times Destiny had slipped into multiple people's mentions just to hit on them. Just straight up. And then, granted, those aren't necessarily my stories to tell, so I'm not going to like say who that was, but I heard it and I was like, yeah, that tracks. Honestly, it seems like his fucking bag is just going into anybody's account that he finds attractive and being like, hey, what's up? Punky's follow. Thank you for following, and Danican, thank you for following. And so here he is in 2022, where he does this. The reason I brought that story up is because that's what he's doing here. So you're seeing how he works firsthand. You're hot as fuck, but 18. What the fuck? Also, 1 day old account. Oh, well, I mean, I'm flattered. If you wanted to, yeah, sure. Preferably one near an ID, so I know you're at least 18. But I understand if... what I'm guessing, or what I know here, is that these were other messages deleted. So here is him saying to Rose, who is the underage sex trafficking victim that he exchanged nudes with. God, he is such a fucking sicko. And here's the thing. It's not that Destiny is actually depraved, because the one of the funniest parts about digging into his like mania and his sexual escapades, unfortunately, as much as I had to for that fucking video, is that he might be one of the most vanilla people I've ever seen. For somebody who has been exposed for being such a weirdo about sex so many times, his predilections are incredibly porn-brained. Like, incredibly basic. Incredibly predatory. But, like, there's nothing of his, like, fetishes or what he's talked about that I'm like, oh, I didn't expect that from him. Like, it's, like, fucking name a weird fetish that you would look at Destiny and be like, yeah, he probably has that. Like, so I bring that up because here, Rose is messaging him, and while he's streaming, should I avoid messaging you while you're streaming, or how does that work? And his response is, no, that's super fun. Always have fantasies about someone under my desk or something while I'm streaming. Cool, dude. Do you also have fantasies about being tied up by the wrists to a headboard? Ooh, feeling risque today, are we? Anyway, have you done stuff like that only once or twice? If you get off 2 to 4 times, how does that work if you stream 12 hours? Sometimes I'll take a 5 to 10 minute break to get off really quick if I'm super horny. That, like, 5 to 10 minute break is crazy. And he's talking about how he sent, without her permission, his ex-wife's nudes as well. Pornographic content he was receiving through an intermediary who ran the Twitter account was of a 17-year-old. January 2021, Destiny acknowledged that he understood sending pornography of his ex-wife in this precise way violated her consent. He knows he needs to inform her. This doesn't matter to him.
There were girls that I talked to past that I'd sent stuff of, like, either me or Melina, and Melina talked to me and she was like,
really quick, everybody in chat, throw a huge congratulations to Jeannie Love. Thank you for $5. Some good news. August 25th, I'm having my bottom surgery. Only took 40 years. Fucking congratulations. Holy shit. That is incredible. Everybody in chat is cheering you on right now. That is... It's weird that there's been like 3 or 4 people I've known lately. I think it's just a matter of, like, because the scheduling and all the preliminary work takes so long. Yeah, I think a lot of people lately have been going through surgery, and I think it's just been a long time coming. So congratulations. I'm sure you've had to fucking wait a long time for it. Why does he still have his ex-wife's nudes? When I break up with somebody, I delete all their pics. Because you are a normal human being. And Steven instead sees everybody as equal opportunity jerk-off material. And I wish so badly I was joking about that, but I'm pretty sure I've seen him on camera. I don't know. He said a lot of shit on camera. I'm relatively sure I've seen him talking about how he doesn't, like, do that. He doesn't delete stuff for being, like, for breaking up with them, because he sees it as, like, well, that's mine now. Like, what? I'm not gonna jerk off to this person. Jay Kong, thank you for $2. Is the Roach Prince a more gross clone of Destiny? Ugh. No, I think they're both bad in their own ways.
Hey, if you're gonna send any videos to new girls that we haven't talked about, like, let me know that first, because she'll.
And this, by the way, was because Destiny's version of polyamory was basically just using, and again, Destiny's orbiters and fans love to slob on the knob and act like the way he acts is not incredibly creepy and predatory. But his game has always been, and he has admitted this, people around him have admitted as much, you can look at the pattern of the people he's engaged with. He particularly fetishizes girls that he sees as being emotionally fragile, emotionally vulnerable, able to be manipulated, and he likes doing that. He has talked openly about how he likes crazy girls. He likes pushing their buttons. He likes fucking with them. He has also talked openly about how, and this is something that's been borne out by all of his, not all of his, but a lot of his past interests, he likes small girls. He likes girls that are short and petite. Some might even say childlike. Who's to say? Who's to say? And the problem I have with Destiny is, in addition to probably being so gooner brain that he just didn't even check and so like exchanged sexual material with a 17-year-old. That's one of the problems. The other problem is, of course, the revenge porn that he just apparently spreads around everywhere. That's a big problem. But to me, it is the very intentional, the thing that goes unmentioned a lot, is the very intentional ways that he targets and uses his platform to go after younger, more vulnerable, and people generally with less clout than he has. Like, that's another thing you'll notice. One of the most consistent things he has done is go after people with far less clout, and additionally make promises to help them in their career. Whether that's helping edit, whether that's who there was the one girl with BPD that had a whole crash out. I showed this in the video I made on him. There's one girl who had BPD that had a whole crash out because even after he publicly excoriated her and called her crazy and all this other shit, he would still message her. He would still tag her along and keep her going. And part of that was promising, oh yeah, no, I'll help. And now you can come join me on this and it'll be cool with all this and all this shit. He is a disgusting, sniveling worm. And everybody who solidifies themselves around him like a fucking barnacle, all these people like Wick and Hutch and that fucking pedophile food shops, as far as I'm concerned, if you still defend this guy after everything he said and this is before the recent Hassan shit, like, the conversation about Destiny so often, because of the way that he wants to angle it, he constantly refocuses it on Hassan, and it's so fucking frustrating because he has more than enough bullshit on his own. He is a liar. He is a manipulator. He is a fucking profiteer. He made his bones giving people like Nick Fuentes a platform. He has no consistent beliefs whatsoever. What kind of person would fuck Lauren Southern and still call themselves a progressive? And it all comes back to this shit where if you say Destiny doesn't actually believe in anything but himself and enriching himself, then his little orbiters will just repeat the same squawking talking points he's fucking said 1 billion times about, oh, so it's two people having a consenting adult relationship. It's like, no. Nobody gives a fuck if two people have a consenting adult relationship. The problem is that you are apparently arguing for progressive values. And you take it so seriously, you do all this research, and then you're out here fucking white supremacists. Like, and by everything I can tell, by the way, the closest he's had to like an emotional relationship was with Lauren Southern. Like, from all the shit I watched with him and his ex-wife, Melena. I always almost say Melania. Melena. Sorry, I'm catching. Come on, Dee Dee. We all have to start somewhere. Hey, you know what? We're gonna on the subject of we all got to start somewhere. We'll talk about Asmongold's girlfriend for somebody who's certainly working her way up that chain. Look, hey, there's fuck that. Ugh, gross. But no, Destiny has plenty of shit. The reason I think that the conversation always comes back to fucking Hassan is not only the fact that he is terminally obsessed with Hassan, but the fact that it allows him to constantly divert from the shit he did. El Salve, thank you for $5. Whoever wants to see me in an MMA match with Destiny for his crimes against humanity, say aye. Aye. Shooting Madison. Either fell off or was removed from his bike. Fixed blade knife. Injured by the knife while attempting to arrest him. Taken to the hospital where he died. Do not have worn body cameras. I don't fucking trust it then. I don't fucking trust it. What skin color? Shot 3 times in the fucking head? I don't fucking think so. Madison, Wisconsin. Identified the man as a person of color. Well, what do you fucking know? "1 p.m. following a report, man was checking parked cars. Last year, Madison police didn't report discharging a firearm towards any suspect. According to the agency's quarterly use of force figures, over half the department's use of force cases involved a takedown." Jesus. fucking sucks, man. A-cab. That's all I gotta say. And here is Milena. Where was this? Madison, Wisconsin. I doubt we're ever gonna fucking know the truth of it, even though it seems pretty fucking open and shut. Like you don't shoot somebody 3 times in the fucking head when you don't shoot somebody 3 times in the head. If for a just a call, let's say. All right.
Exactly. But yeah, I hope one day.
Nope.
That I can. I don't know. I don't even know if details of anything is really that important. But I'm pretty sure for the people that are aware that's happened the past month, I think that shows a lot of what has been happening. Things that just happened. The past month, things that's been done to me without consent or anything. that has been my past 5 years. that energy, you know. Yeah.
It's fucking hard not to feel bad for Milena, genuinely. So today, did I miss something? Yeah, we'll talk about we got some more stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about the Cuba thing a little bit. From Yeet, which is just fucking drama slop shit. But the Destiny hopes Twitch at least goes down when/if a Hassan fan does something violent after reviewing multiple fans of Piker being arrested for terrorist threats. Oh.
He's isolated in his room playing virtual reality games. Subject United States District Court versus Blake Govia. Criminal complaint. The defendant did threaten to assault and murder ST? I don't know what that means. A member of the immediate family of a United States senator with intent to retaliate against the United States senator on account of the performance of his official duties. Subject's brother, Ryan Govia, expressed that he was unsurprised that Subject would make a threatening call to a politician or politician's spouse. R. Govia opined that Subject had anger management issues in addition to other mental health concerns. Subject spent most days isolated in his room.
So are we blaming Hassan for everything his followers do now? Is that buddy. For the guy who's been boozing buddies with Nick Fuentes, I don't think this is the way you want to go. I don't think the guilt by association is going to be a good fucking look for you, dude. Tartan McCagus, thank you for €5. Don't understand how U.S. police are so trigger happy. Maybe it's because in Scotland, police do their job properly. It's because U.S. police are closer to a gang, honestly. We let them. Like, it's a perk of the job, essentially, is the way it's treated.
Playing virtual reality games, Subject regularly listened to the social media influencer Hassan Piker, who R. Govia considered to have a far-left political ideology.
Wow.
Subject's stepfather, Dallas Wetherington, also expressed that he was unsurprised by Subject threatening to kill a politician's spouse to the behavior Subject regularly displayed around the household. It's crazy that, Taylor Lorenz and Hassan all supported that, making death threats. You see Hassan has made the threats. He's, posted the pictures of the gun and shit and talked about, the Rick Scott memes and everything else. And then you have, people in his audience. This isn't even the first one, right? We had that news article before of that Hassan Piker fan, guy?
It looks like it. He's got credentials.
Hi, are
What's
you the
good?
guy?
Matthew, good to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
What's going on?
Man. There you go, Mark. Good to meet you.
Mark,
Where you guys go?
Kids
Whoa.
for you
guys.
Let's
Do
go.
you happen to have, like a tote bag or something?
Yeah. Big
Oh, I would love to.
Yeah, you don't want to carry all that around the whole time?
Well,
A Michigan man has been charged with making terrorist threats in Illinois. This was published on September 9th of 2025. Police say the threats caused many businesses to close early. I just hope that, like, if it finally happens, if something does happen with one of these people, I hope that Twitch falls for it. Like, I hope the fact that they keep in mind they preemptively like permaban ICE from everything just because the threats and everything, because they thought ICE Poseidon was too much of a liability. But like Hassan is out here, like, and it's not, it's like so stupid because if one of his fans does like haul off and murder somebody, people are gonna look back and they'll be like, where were the signs? And it's like, okay, well, he was.
I want you to hold that in your mind, in your mind's eye for all this moving forward. Give me 1 second because I'm looking for some other clips I had found and saved. God damn, I can't find that one. He has a fucking thing where he talks about how Hassan should get got out in public. But anyway,
times while he's live streaming.
Here we go.
This is him at his cult.
I just want to clarify what I was saying here because it sounds like I'm saying that.
Okay, yeah, no, they're literally talking about it. So here is Destiny, 2026, January 25th. His location should be publicly available at all times while he's live streaming. Destiny, same day. If Dan wants to do something useful and still be a Hassan hater, he should create a Track Hassan account that posts his current location when he's out at protests. So he's advocating for Hassan to be tracked so that people can know his exact location. But Hassan is the one, oh no, sending fucking death squads, apparently, by the way fucking Stevie wants to make it sound.
His like live location or whatever should be broadcast or whatever was at protest. That is exactly what I'm saying, and it should be. And he should be bullied. People should scream at him and shout at him and bully him the fuck out of any left-leaning protest that you see. The CCP paid agitator fuck should never.
I can tell he's absolutely not jealous or mad. I can tell that this all comes from a place of pure conviction, not just jealousy.
Never be in any Democratic liberal protest ever. If he wants to go hang out with disgusting, smelly, fat fucking losers, the tanky fucks or whatever, he can go hang out with those fucking losers. That's absolutely fine. But until he has made a public statement that fully accounts for how he was compensated by the Chinese Communist Party.
Do we want to get into a... He wants to bring up the CCP. Hey, buddy, do you want to talk about Israel? You want to talk about your trip to Israel? Do you want to talk about that? I don't think you do. I'm just saying, I don't think you do.
For his little fucking paid vacation trip with him and the rest of his little streamer fucks to China, until he has publicly announced and addressed that and talked about it, I have no idea why the fuck you would want this guy anywhere near any of your liberal protests. Absolutely fucking out. One of the hugest issues that this country has right now is all of the foreign interference that is just happening openly on all of our social media platforms by the same countries that paid this fucking loser to go and do a shill who couldn't even go through with it. He couldn't even let the guy fuck rape his neck, okay, at the stupid chiropractic place because he knew how bullshit the stuff that he was promoting was. But he was getting paid too much, compensated too much by the Chinese government to say no. Okay, so fuck this guy. Fuck letting him anywhere near your protests. If you want to go hang out with Republicans, go to the dangerous places and get shot, motherfucker. Okay, all of us will clap for you, I promise.
This by the way, is the guy who is saying that, no, it's Hassan who's violent. It's Hassan who wants the violence to happen to him. That he's been spreading about, ooh, Hassan is so obsessed with him that he's like, we're almost halfway through this one clip. Jesus Christ.
All right, go to the Republican places, go to the edgy places, go hang out with tankies or whatever, but stay the fuck away from liberal protests. This fat loser motherfucker, this balding, graying piece of shit, to show up at a liberal protest for 6 hours, you can come and finger wave.
Okay, so if you don't know what happened, Hassan was a special guest speaker this last weekend at a fucking young college Republicans event somewhere. And Destiny made very public plans to go harass him. Very publicly. Give me a second. I'm looking at my girl Steph has been keeping an eye on all this shit. Let's see if I can just find the fucking media tab to find the thing I'm looking for. There we go. All right.
And virtue signal to everybody else that you do shit, that you matter. You don't matter. Nobody likes you. I didn't want to review.
Oh, here's another oldie but a goldie. While Destiny is playing his poor me shtick. Destiny 2026, July 1st. Somebody is going to die soon in this space, I'm pretty sure. Just as a heads up, I'm going to be doing some mass harassment campaigns on every single journalist who gives this guy free interviews from now on. So that is him admitting to mass harassment campaigns of any journalist who interviews Hassan, who interviews a major, like, oh, here's the one. Here we go. And then here he is also saying, 2025, I honestly think you could perfectly justify attacking/killing Hassan in real life for statements like this. So this is Mr. fucking Debate. This is Mr. fucking Debate Me Bro saying not only should he be publicly bullied, publicly tracked, it would be okay to justify killing him in broad daylight, but that anybody associated with him, ooh, Steven's going to stomp his little tiny fucking manlet feet and target them for mass harassment. But Steven is the one who is saying that, no, he's completely normal. I wonder how Destiny's ex-wife deals with him. Probably doesn't. I would hope to never fucking see him again. Very public, including actually filming the account. Yes, he filmed himself getting rejected. We'll go over this all in a second, but I want to finish watching this.
The reason why I've been off stream so much is I actually game with my close personal friend. I'll just say his last name is Mamdani, and he says that him and his wife talk shit about Hassan all the time, 24/7. All we do is we queue up ARC Raiders and we run around the lobbies. We just talk shit about Hassan constantly. They say they hate him, that he's a loser, that his hair is falling out, that he needs to up his TRT.
This sucks, dude. So here is Kick streamer Destiny got banned from the College Democrats of America convention after announcing he would harass Hassan Piker and his audience at the event. And here's where he goes. I wonder why they didn't want him here. Yeah, here we go. Doing some mass harassment campaigns. The same day, Destiny said, is the College Democrat event today open to the public? Hassan responds to chatter suggesting Destiny is trying to ride his wave. Stephen Bonnell purchased a ticket for $280. Oh, jeez. Crazy.
Are you
guys selling those shirts?
Yes, we are.
Nice.
Climb over there. Are you Destiny?
It's just like this guy let out such an exasperated fucking, are you Destiny? And then like you see him sigh because he knows, like, I'm sure he's just a con organizer. He's just helping to put this event on. And now he knows that this is going to be a whole fucking thing. Like, look, no, legitimately watch him. He's like, this is just my life now. I have to fucking deal with these dorks for the next couple days.
Are you Destiny? Yeah. We're not letting you.
Why is it not playing play the video? There we go.
Are you guys selling those shirts?
Yes, we are.
Nice.
Climb over there.
Why is it not? It's not playing. Play, you motherfucker. I'll close this one out.
Yes, we are.
Nice.
Climb over there. Are you Destiny? Yeah. We're not letting you. We're not letting you in because we're ready to go talk to you.
Like the idea of, so if you can't hear it, he's saying, what? How? Like he's, oh, jeez. Same guy who was like, yeah, you can justify killing Hassan and people should track his every move and be able to find him and go beat him up and harass him in public and do all this shit. And here he is being like, what? But why? I can't come in there and blindside him for content? But why? Huh? And again, it wasn't just Destiny, because a bunch of his fucking little orbiters were there too, and they posted pictures like, we paid to get our thing, and blah, blah, blah. It's the same exact way that Nick Fuentes, his groypers, and that one fucking Ryan Sanchez. I think Ryan Sanchez is the name. Exact same way they're moving.
We're worried you're going to yell or some shit towards us on, and we're not going to. I'm sorry. Yes, and you refuse. I'm sorry.
How can I not get into the...
We're telling you we're not going to get it. We're telling you you're not going to get it.
For a
I
guy
know
who
it's
doesn't
wrong.
support the Democratic Party or whatever has priority over...
I'm not engaging in...
So he's trying to literally... He's trying to fucking debate lord this guy who's just doing his fucking job. I understand Steven doesn't know what a normal job actually looks like. But most people don't just get to be pedantic and to have people rally in their corner no matter what dumbass shit they say. Like, you're not gonna fucking debate this guy out of... He's like, so I can support the Democratic Party, but I can't get in over tankies. And the dude's like, I don't fucking care, dog. I'm just like, I'm not gonna debate you on this.
Okay, I understand. Is there anybody ahead of you or anybody above you that I can talk about?
I haven't watched all of this. So I didn't know that right after he tries to debate the guy, he does a literal, can I talk to your manager? I did not know Destiny Karen'd out this fucking hard. No, Wild Antic, he is. He Destiny really said, would you like to debate me about it? The guy goes, no. And he goes, interesting. Is there somebody else I could talk to? Oh, man.
I am the national vice president. Okay. I'm called Democrats here. Yeah, but she trusts me with everything, so, love her. Security.
Ooh, I know that felt good. I know it felt good to big dick him like that. Fucking like, he was 1 second away from like big dogging him and just snapping his fingers and being like, security. Oh, that's fucking... Oh, that has to feel good. Because guess what? Like, one of the things that is probably most annoying about the particularly, not just liberals, particularly the brand of vapid centrism of like Destiny's, the DGG contingent, is that they've convinced themselves that if you do not engage with them, that they somehow have a worthwhile argument, or they have a worthwhile discussion underway, or that engaging with them is going to lead to any better understanding or an exchange of ideas. But it's not. The guy they follow does glorified book reports, basically. He finds Wikipedia entries. He clips passages from books, doesn't even read full books. And that's his research. And so they treat every engagement as though it is a debate that can be won. And then they sit back and wonder, and they're like, well, why don't more people want to be on the progressive side? Why aren't more people advocating for leftism? Why aren't more people advocating for liberalism? Why aren't more people in charge of the let's try and debate our way out of all this shit party? And it's because out here in the real world, debates don't actually do anything. They might convince people in atomized online spaces where people mostly just consume content through debate. Rarely they might convince people of that. Mostly it's just an aesthetics exercise. And an exceedingly tired one at that. We've seen for more than a decade, Destiny has played, and this is really, I think, where a lot of this frustration comes down to, is that Destiny has played his role, and it's time for him to fucking sunset. He has no more utility to the conservative spaces. He has no more utility to progressive spaces. He has isolated himself by being far too antisocial, far too cynical, far too angry, and like prone to outbursts and shit like this over personal beefs, instead of actually trying to build a political project. The extent to which he's built anything, the shit he likes to talk about, is like, oh, I'm doing this. I'm doing the Unfuck America tour, and I'm doing all this stuff. That is just the same debate lord, debate bro shtick he's been fucking doing for over a decade. The same debate lord shtick that gave Nick Fuentes a platform, that helped to legitimize voices like Myron Games, that helped to put more spotlight on shit like the Whatever podcast. It is the conversations with people like Sneeko that he entertained that allowed those idiots, those mouth-breathing troglodytes, to have the platform they have today. Allowing them to clout off of each other, to create their own spaces, all because he wanted to have a debate. Did he ever, one fucking time, change one of these conservatives' minds about something? Genuinely. Did he ever change Nick Fuentes' mind on something? That wasn't just a, hey, well, let's talk about this rationally. And then Nick Fuentes does his little rat fucker shtick where he goes, well, yeah, and you can actually see, and that's true, and oh, yeah. And then he goes back to his fucking cave and talks and fucking... Here's every Nick Fuentes stream from the last fucking year, by the way. As he grows more and more, as the twink death grabs a hold of him. Oh, Nick Fuentes has a flatter face. He just sits there like this, reading out shit of being like, white Aryan 2243 sends in $500, and he has to be like, yeah, no, it's actually super base that you don't like. That is Destiny's legacy. That is the legacy of the debate bro space. Is letting the most vehemently bad faith people in the world get a foot in the door, giving them a platform. All because you wanted to just have an open conversation with people who were never once interested in having an honest conversation. Not once. Nick Fuentes, in his entire life, has never had an honest fucking conversation about everything. But you know what? Destiny knows that. Destiny knows that. That's why he doesn't have a problem fucking Nazis. That's why he doesn't have a problem palling around with Nick Fuentes and his Discord. Because at his core, Destiny doesn't actually care about anything but how other people see him, his platform, his standing. And since because that has been on the decline because everybody knows it, everybody has seen where this shtick has led, how completely ineffective it's been at any level to capture the minds of a voter base, let alone actually stem the tide of misinformation. They still live in this beautiful little sectioned off world where they believe that if you can out pedantic somebody else, then you will win in the marketplace of ideas. Okay, cool. Where's that ever gotten you? When has him epically owning somebody in a debate done something good? Like really changed policy. And again, not to compare and contrast, but if you're looking at Destiny's idea of a political project and then comparing that to the motion Hassan has been getting, where, like, say whatever shit you want about fucking Hassan right now, he is able to get people elected. Or at the very least, is able to drum up positivity and support with his platform. And I think that is enough for Destiny to lose his fucking mind over. The idea that people are tired of his ass, that his shit has been completely ineffectual, and in fact has mostly worked against the progressive causes that he makes his money off of. And he's actually out here doing something. Like Destiny's idea of doing something, of him getting out and being engaged, this Unfuck America tour thing, it's just the Charlie Kirk shtick. That's it. He's doing Charlie Kirk's thing. And he only started doing it after Charlie Kirk died. God. Ungolent, thank you for following. J. Kish Bestabi, thank you for 3 months. The Shadowed City, thank you for following. J. Kong, thank you for $5. Remember when Destiny got the taste slapped out of him in Israel? I do. Good times. And the other thing, by the way, because the most annoying part of Destiny and all his fans and followers is that so much of his defenses come down to, I know you are, but what am I? Like, somebody will call him out for something, and he'll always be like, oh, well, what about, like, it's whataboutism. It's what about this other thing? It's like, no, 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 no. Answer for the shit you've done, motherfucker. And this is why the whole Hassan thing is so fucking frustrating to talk about, is that you can't criticize Destiny online without people calling you a Hassan orbiter, calling you a Hassan stan, calling you a Hassan fan, and digging up one tweet where you mentioned, like, why can't he just not answer for the shit he's fucking done? It's why I can't help but laugh when Destiny wants to go and talk about everybody else and, oh, they did this, and what about this time you abused this person. He can pull out receipts that he tracks down from all of his fucking orbiters scouring through Kiwi farms for whatever dirt he wants on somebody, which is something he does do. He has multiple times talked about, oh yeah, get me this person's docs. I want to see this person's docs information. I'm going to dox this person. That's something he does all the fucking time. He solicits this from his audience. And if you bring up to his audience that he is a bad father who abandoned a wife and son, an autistic son that he knew about, to go and be able to fuck, and which is why he did it, by the way. He moved across the country from a young kid that he did not raise in any meaningful way, that he did not help guide in any meaningful way, that he was not there for in any meaningful way, who has since turned out to be, much like his father, a socially inept, socially isolated person who is now espousing open white nationalism, Holocaust revisionism, and Nazi ideology. And if you point that out to Destiny's fan base, it's like, hey, why is your son a fucking Nazi? They go, shame on you for criticizing, for going after somebody else's kid. It's like, no, 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 no. This is not what about. Why did the kid become a Nazi? Like, I know liberals like to, and the other part of this is that Destiny really doesn't like to take into account the totality of things. He loves to really argue an issue, and you saw this a lot with his debate with Finkelstein. He doesn't get Israel-Palestine in a broader spectrum outside of what we know about currently. Like, he doesn't take into account that things don't just fucking happen in vacuums. And so I think that trickles down to his audience, too. Anyway. Mr. Bonelli. Mr. Bonell. Mr. Bonarelli. I don't remember if Mr. Bonarelli was one Finkelstein actually said or if that's just what the meme has become. Anyway, I want to finish watching this really quick.
Security. Okay. You can please walk out of the building.
So unnecessary.
This isn't. Look, we're gonna walk.
No, good job. You did it. Thank you.
You're not following rules. You're making your own.
That's fine.
He had the camera rolling the entire time. He fucking anticipated this shit. Have I seen Jimothy in real life? No. I mean, I don't live in Seattle. Okay. All right, chat. I will be right back. I need to run to the restroom real quick, and then we will we'll keep going on this in a second. And we still have to talk about Asmon's girlfriend right after this, so don't go anywhere. We got a lot more coming up. Mr. Bonarelli. See, now I got that stuck. Now I just have Norm Finkelstein's like disappointed teacher tone of voice telling Steven he doesn't know shit. Stuck in my head. Discordant Volt. Oh my gosh, it has been a minute. Thank you for 33 months in a row. God, it's been a while. Ruiner is alive. Thank you very much for following. Oh, by the way, if y'all haven't yet, go over, like the new stream channel, Dead Domain Live. We are almost to 5K. We're almost to 5K followers over on YouTube right now. I'm posting a bunch of cool stuff over there, posting our Let's Play of the Citizen Vigilante video game. And if you have not yet, please, if you're over on Twitch, go like, follow, subscribe on the YouTube channel, the main channel, Dead Domain. We're so close to cracking 160,000. So fucking close. Please go help out. I appreciate it all. Did we miss Asmon? No. We got a little bit more. I feel like we've actually covered most of the shit, but I kind of want to watch Asmon just to get the full breakdown. But yeah, let me go to this and then
perfectly justify attacking killing us on IRL for statements like this. Oh my God, we got to show support and show love to the College Democrats of America, chat. Holy they're every annoying person on the internet is yelling at them right now. You weren't wrong. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You invited us on Piker to be your special guest today, and now you're backtracking because all the groups he's offended are pissed that you platformed him too late. Individual members of the College Democrats of America convention attendees and speakers are not official spokespeople of our organization. The person referencing the claims barring attendees and College Democrats of America's official executive vice president Cameron Lane, and not merely an individual member. I love that the context note is just straight up like brigaded by Destiny's community and offers no additional context that that is against what the organization is saying. I like that these guys just straight up came out and was like, I'm gonna go and harass this dude who's speaking at this event. I wasn't invited to this event. And then they were like, hey, you can't do that. We're not letting you into the event. You filmed yourself trying to harass people at the event. And he is able to somehow brigade Twitter and get like Shannon Watts and Project Liberal and all these other like annoying accounts on Twitter to make a big fuss about this. Very, very weird stuff. Yeah, look at this. Like, look at all the people writing in her replies too. Honestly, think you perfectly justify attacking killing us on IRL for statements like this. Or this one. Yeah. You have a moral obligation to bully the fuck out of this guy if you ever see him in one of your protests. Don't let CCP paid agitators infiltrate liberal crowds of protesters, make his presence as uncomfortable as possible until he's forced to pack up and fuck off back to his WeHo mansion.
There you go. Like, literally, you have a moral obligation to bully this guy. Infiltrate liberal crowds of protesters, make his presence as... Like, it's the problem here for me is that sorry, I was just kissing at my cat. She's looking at me. The problem here for me is that there's something to Destiny that I was never able to fully quantify or put my finger on, where there is a dividing line where he just stops pretending to care about politics and just advocates you should be hurt, harmed, killed, jailed, anything. And it's very interesting, by the way, hashtag noticing, that line doesn't seem to come with, like, Nick Fuentes or people like Myron Gaines can say some of the most openly heinous, violent shit. He's not calling for them to be arrested, but when Marco Rubio, the conservatives, start talking about how Hassan Piker is working with Cuba to spread Marxist ideology, suddenly it's like, oh no, that's something he literally chants on. It's funny when he uses terms like infiltrate a liberal protest, because that's not a liberal protest. That's just a protest. But he sees things in such stark black and white terms that he cannot conceive of allying himself with a more radical version of progressivism, but has no problem allying himself with conservatism. Just noticing.
This is, how is this in any way, shape, or form like normal behavior? I genuinely assume that like people are not going to be so side-cucked. They're not going to be so biased that they just like refuse to see when someone is like doing something that is worthy of a restraining order. Yeah, this isn't just like cyber harassment either. This is like straight up slandering people that are associated, cyberbullying them, cyber stalking me, and then stalking me in real life. I mean, what are we doing? Morgan. So I don't know why you're still trying to make this bad faith argument while we're currently watching them go through the steps that they live streamed, mind you. That's what's so crazy about this. Like, they live streamed this entire process.
Spear Griever, thank you for 500. Yo, GD, where's the second part of the Phantom Menace reading, you hack? I will do it. I think I'm going to save it for the next live stream. I think that'll be a fun thing to be able to keep doing, is like next time I finish episode 1 and then probably actually start on episode 2, because we got most of the way through episode 1. We got pretty damn far through it.
It's the stupidest thing you can do. And they're still trying to continue this narrative that this happened randomly.
I'm more on the deal than everyone else.
Yeah, North is live, and Orbiter, Stephen Bonnell, aka Destiny, Omni-Liberal, all but admitting he and others were at College Democrats of America event to disrupt and possibly threaten.
Yeah, here we go. Like, this is the other thing. First off, I need one thing about, okay. I know we've talked a lot about aesthetics today in a, unrelated topic, but it does need to be brought up. I'm not saying for sure, but I have yet to see somebody in Destiny's orbit that has aura above like a negative number, like at all. It has any form of like charisma or presence in person. Like, I just haven't seen it. Every person I've seen go to bat for this guy just looks like, okay, the classic cinematic film Gremlins 2, The New Batch, right? How they have all of these like weird gremlins that have their own kind of thing, but it still looks like Stripe. That's what all of Destiny's orbiters look like. It's like looking at his orbiters, you can tell there's some of the original DNA in there somewhere. You just don't know quite how it fit together or how it got there. And that's like kind of what I feel like watching him.
Threaten a keynote speaker.
I want you to wait. Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's fine. You're good. But do you think that this one is actually going to skip?
Let me slow this down a little bit.
It would be hilarious if he's like, DGGers were harassing him at the event, and thus I was unable to show up for.
Like, brother, look. Green Day, BMT, pretty uncultured, not aware of Gremlins 2. It's pretty good. That's right. Yeah, Stripe was Gremlins 1. Who's the fucking one in Gremlins 2? It was there was like another like main baddie. Split stream Hutch. You don't think he's a catch? Hutch looks like every other white dude to me. Every other white dude to me. Like, I'm gonna be so real. Look, okay. I don't do a lot of like IRL streaming, so I'm not I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. I do think, though, I'm generally okay with finding angles. It's something it takes a long time to do. But if you're going to go online and whine about how you weren't let into a place for very good reason, it should, like, you should know to make sure how you're going to be depicted, right? If you are in this debate space, you need to know how this is going to look. And it's not going to look great for you. They all look like Paul Dano to me. If Paul Dano is evil, so Paul Dano. Spike. It was Spike. I thought it was Spike. Fuck. Was the Gremlins 2 thing something like, I don't know, the Minecraft? So if people don't know, Pathic, let me read that real quick. to clarify, that was very derogatory. Oh, I know. What was I saying? Sexy lady gremlin. No, Gremlins 2 fucking whiffs. If you haven't watched Gremlins 2, it is just a bundle of fun. They Texas Chainsaw 2'd it, basically, where they took the first one, which is this kind of like Spielbergian 80s horror comedy holiday mashup thing, and then they just made it this big, bizarre special effects extravaganza, while also being kind of a pretty, for the time, like cutting satire / comedy on like 80s commercialism and consumerism. If you want a good example of meta comedy done before it was like a thing, watch Gremlins 2 and Friday the 13th Part 6 back to back. Those are two really good examples, I feel. It has an unfortunate well, I don't know. I think it's wrapped back around to being charming again now that he's dead, but it does have a Hulk Hogan cameo that for a long time was like, oof, ugh, ah, oof. Or you know what? You could go two ways with it. If you didn't want to have a meta commentary, you just wanted like weird movies that take place in an 80s mall. Kind of a mall. It's like a super, whatever. Do Gremlins 2 and then follow it up with Chopping Mall, because those are also a really good follow up, I think. I don't know. What did I say? Why is it charming now? Oh, because he's dead. Because it's like the Hulk Hogan cameo, it now rings less of like a, fuck, I forgot that guy's still alive. And now to me, it's more like, Hulkamania, right? Yeah. Oh, what a time. What a time to be alive. That one Goth Lady Friday Part 6 is one of my favorite comfort movies, as well it should be. No, Ghost ATW, that is Part 5. Friday 6 is Jason Lives. Part 5 is fucking A New Beginning or New... I don't fucking know. That's one I skip every time. Ooh, I remember being a kid and being so fucking mad. Like, who the fuck is this motherfucker in a blue mask? This ain't Jason. Oh. No, Friday 7, Femme Maiden was A New Blood. Or The New Blood was the psychic girl. Because it goes 1, 2, 3, Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. I forget. I think it was A New Beginning. Then Part 6, Jason Lives. Part 7, The New Blood. Part 8, Jason Takes... No, there's one I'm missing there. No, I'm not. Because 8 is Jason Takes Manhattan. 9 is Jason Goes to Hell. And then 10 is Jason X. God, I have so much fucking slasher knowledge in my brain. It's fucking crazy. It's like here's how much slasher knowledge I have up there. Somebody posted today that the work print was found of Friday the 13th Part 6, the one that we've been talking about. And my first thought was like, they'll be able to restore the triple decapitation that was cut for like censorship purposes back in the 80s that was lost. Because they had a so for those that don't know, Friday the 13th Part 6 is like kind of one of the least gory of the films, of the like classic Friday movies, because at the time decapitations were much more of a no-no than they are now. And there was a scene where it's this fucking great scene where he's hunting down paintballers, and the way they had done it, where it was basically 3 torsos lined up with ejecting heads and blood and stuff, and the way that they had shot it, Jason cuts all 3 off at once. But they don't show that in the movie because it was cut, because it was too graphic. And God, I fucking hope, I hope that gets restored, because it's something, apparently it was filmed perfectly and I've always wanted to see it. And the humor holds up really good. The humor, it is a legitimately fucking funny movie. because of how unassuming it is, especially if you're watching it with all the other Friday movies, and you watch the first one, you're like, why is this big? You watch 2, you're like, oh, I get the charm. You watch 3 and 4, and they start to get a little bit like slightly more lore, and like Jason gets the mask, and you introduce Tommy and all this stuff, and then you're like, okay, no, I see the appeal here a little bit. But 6 is like where the franchise felt like it was coming into its own as like a cultural artifact. And also, Kane Hodder. I believe that's the first one with Kane Hodder, and Kane brings such a like there's a reason that he is associated with Jason more than Tyler. I forget what the big dude. Sorry, I gotta. All right, give me a second, baby. You look cute. I know. Go. All right, I'm calling it. Should be here soon. I'll see you in a bit. Text me. I'm not going to boo you, Marek Shard. You're speaking the fucking truth. You're speaking the truth. You're talking. Ooh. Jason X. Jason X is my shit, dude. Jason X fucking whips. I don't care what anybody says. Like, and I think part of that is also Kane Hodder. Like Kane Hodder is Jason to such a degree to me that A, I think it's a fucking crime he wasn't Jason in Freddy vs. Jason, but B, like I always think of one anecdote where a writer for the movie came to him and was like, oh, Jason's gonna kill a dog or something in this, and Kane was like, no, Jason doesn't kill dogs. And I'm like, no, that's Jason. That is somebody who understands this monster as a character. In a very like Ishiro Honda like philosophy kind of way. But yeah, no, fucking Jason X whips as Cronenberg at the very beginning taking a fucking spear through the heart. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right, I'm about done with this, I feel. I never saw Jason X, so based on this, I'll give it a watch. It's so fun. It's so fucking fun. Jason X or Leprechaun in Space? Jason X. Jason X. Yeah. Like Jason X is the only of the like in space slasher movies. So you got like Hellraiser 4 Bloodlines, Jason X, and Leprechaun in Space. Jason X is the only one I would say is like actually a good movie because it knows. The other movies know what they're doing, but I think whether it was because like just being unfocused in the case of Hellraiser or just being too cheap in the case of Leprechaun, I'm not going to have anybody sit down and fucking watch Leprechaun. Yeah, I'm not going to have anybody sit down and be like, oh no, you're going to love this. You're going to fucking love Leprechaun 4 in space. Like that takes a very specific taste palette, where I think something like Jason X is like it is very much appealing to slasher fans, but it's so fucking silly and ridiculous, and knowingly it is not silly and ridiculous in a way like a fucking, you know, like Batman v Superman kind of way, where it's like, fucking Martha, oh my god, this is so stupid. It's silly and ridiculous that even if you want to point and laugh at it, it's welcoming you to have a good time. It's a movie that just wants to have a fucking good time, wants to show off some cool special effects, wants to have some fun character moments, and it delivers on all those. Like it's pretty good. Yeah, it's haunted house cheesy. It very much is. Like Jason X is a perfect kind of one of, I call it like a Halloween party background movie. You know, like I think the Babysitter movies are very much in that same thing where like you can put it on at a Halloween party, People don't really need to follow along. People can watch a scene or two in between drinks and conversations, and it's everybody's having a good fucking time. Like that's what you want. Because there's always these motherfuckers at Halloween parties and shit who are trying to put on their art school fave. You know, there are always these people out there who are going to be like, no, we're going to make everybody sit down and watch The Witch. You know, like, oh yeah, no, hey, you're going to love this movie. It was actually like one of the main movies, or one of the only horror movies made in the Soviet Union. You're going to love watching VIY. And guess what? Nobody at a fucking Halloween party wants to watch VIY unless you're at a fucking film school party, in which case everybody's already seen it. Like, this is my hot tip to you. This is my hot tip to you. If you're throwing a party, put on something fun. Don't put on something serious. Put on something fun. Do not put on something people have to pay attention to. This seems like it would be. No duh. This seems like it would be a no-brainer. It is not. This is not the case. The amount of time I have seen people put on shit that they're like, yeah, everybody, like, because nobody's going to pay attention to it. Nobody's going to pay attention to it. And anyway, that's why fucking Jason X is great, because you can watch an android kick Jason's ass and then watch nanites put him back together. Oh. What a picture. What a picture. Event Horizon's another good one like that. Who wants to watch Solaris? Yeah. No, yeah, I put on excuse me. I put on a really fun movie. It's called Stalker by Andrei Tarkovsky. It's like, rad, dude. Anyway. Yeah, I'm about, oh, fuck. Oh, Tucker and Dale versus Evil is enough. Tucker and Dale, speaking of double features, I feel like Tucker and Dale versus Evil and Jason X would go pretty well together. I think that's a good pairing. That's a good pairing. Capsule Boy Screamers whips. I watched Screamers for the first time. I think it was last year. No? Yeah, last year. And man, Screamers is fucking cool. What a weird movie. What a weird, like it, oh, but it just has so much texture. Yeah, cool movie. Cool movie. What was I talking? What was I doing? Oh, yeah. Kaisi. I have never heard of this person. But I exposed in just 2 days. Okay. Let me throw a bone to this person. I'm assuming they're gonna tell me something I don't know about it. Even Asmongold can't save on of the biggest streamers from this drama. Asmongold's new girlfriend, Kaisi, and her history. This does not give me a hope that this is anything other than AI, but we'll fucking see. Yeah, I believe it's based on Philip K. Dick. It's such a... The thing I really loved about Screamers was that it has texture that you do not get anymore from like mid-range Hollywood sci-fi projects. Like, it feels like it was filmed on a fucking, like, in an actual apocalypse. Like, it is so, like, gritty and dirty and bleak and sandy and rusty, and like there was a spate of sci-fi that had that kind of grit and texture in the 90s. It's very like Quake 2 feeling in a way, and I know that's a game obviously, but like it has that same kind of like grime and dirt. Like you feel like you're just watching the movie, you feel like you're just gonna like accidentally get sand in your teeth or some shit. And I really appreciate, and then Peter Weller's fucking amazing too. Like I love any point Peter Weller gets to like flex his acting chops, because I feel like he's been so pigeonholed into RoboCop and stuff, and like he's a solid actor. And I do think it's a movie that also benefits from a modern rewatch, because it's like, if you were to compare it to other sci-fi and action movies of the day, I think a lot of people would have been like, oh yeah, that shit was boring. Because there are long segments in that, and you can kind of tell that it's based on a story, because there are just long stretches of kind of nothing really happening, or people walking from one place to another, or people talking, and it can get kind of boring in that way. But I didn't find it so much boring, especially when you compare it to something like, Terminator 2, which is another 90s action sci-fi thing. And I could see a lot of people being like, yeah, this is kind of not great. But now going to revisit it with this kind of filmmaking and this like pocket of filmmaking that we don't have anymore, which is mid-budget actioners that are also sci-fi, like it feels there's more of a texture to it, I think, that's able to be appreciated. Oh, hell yeah, Jonathan. Jonathan Toden, Split Second is a good one. I fucking love Split. Oh, you mean Rutger Hauer's Xenomorph Cyborg Jamboree? I fucking love Split Second, dude. Oh, Split Second whips so goddamn hard. Split Second whips so fucking hard. Rutger Hauer being just this greasy, smoking dickhead cop chasing down this like leather bondage gear Xenomorph Terminator thing. Oh. Fucking cinema. What? Oh, Miss needs food. She's yelling at me. All right. 1 second, and then we'll get into this shit. Idle Hands, 1999. I have not seen it since middle school, when a friend of mine we used to have this like weird DVD exchange where I would just bring random DVDs he's never seen, and he would bring VHSs and DVDs from his home I'd never seen, because we were both poor and didn't have internet. And so like he would just bring me like, yeah, here's a bunch of fucking horror movies and stuff, and I would go home and pop them on the TV. And that was one of them. And I like, even as a kid, I was like, oh, this is kind of fucking stupid. But I think it was like a 90s dumb comedy that was supposed to be like that. Another one he had me watch was Biodome. And I just, every time Biodome comes up, I'm able to be like, I have technically seen Biodome. Coda Anthony, Brain Scan. I watched Brain Scan in the last year. What a weird fucking movie. What a weird fucking movie. If you like Brain Scan, though, you should check out Albert Pune's Arcade. Now, that's a fucking fun one. That, I had so much fucking fun watching Arcade on Temu. Let's just talk about movies. Thank you, Nanix Runner, for $10. I know the Friday the 13th reboot was bad, but man, was Jason scary in that movie. Not only does he set traps, he sprints, and a very fast Jason is a scary Jason. I like the remake. And here's the thing. I think the Friday remake works because the Friday films have never been high art. They've never aimed to be. Sometimes they have hit way above their punching weight. But they are not, like, you don't need to make a good movie to make a good Friday the 13th movie, if that makes sense. What Arcade? I had to run out to check my eggs. Arcade, Albert Pune's Arcade. I think it was from, was it Full Moon? Yeah, this movie fucking whips, dude. Oh. It's like Tron meets Hellraiser 2. I had such a fucking good time with this. With young Seth Green and an old Ralphie from A Christmas Story. By the way, these old like Full Moon Pictures movies are insane with their cast. God, there was another one I was thinking of recently that I was like, how the fuck like, this cast is fucking stacked with I was now I need to go check it out because it was one that I was like, is that fucking? There's no fucking way that's this actor, and it totally fucking was. Let me see. Was it Nemesis? I think it might have been Nemesis. Yeah, it was Nemesis. Nemesis was another Albert Pune movie I watched that was like, is that it has Kerry Tagawa, Nicholas Guest. There was another person in here who I was like, is that Thomas Jane? Thomas Jane and Jackie Earle Haley both played like bit characters in Nemesis. It's stuff like that where I'm just like, what do you mean all four of these people got bit parts in this 1992 movie? Yeah, I like the hell out of that. Arcade was a good time. Anyway,
it finally happened. Asmon
wasn't Lawnmower Man a thing? Oh boy, it sure fucking was. I finally watched Lawnmower Man and Lawnmower Man 2 this year because I've kind of been meaning to for a long time. Yeah, that first movie is it's something. There's stuff I liked about it, I'll say that. But and then there was the rest of the fucking movie. Oh God. What a thing. That is a movie. I think Lawnmower Man would be something that you could remake in a really interesting way today. Like I think there is something with AI and the way that enables people's worst kind of impulses. I think there is a story to be told with the Lawnmower Man and cyberspace, but those ones are not great. Lawnmower, like I like the cyberspace stuff in there, but it's like, oof, boy. And then fucking Lawnmower Man 2. Oh man, Lawnmower Man 2. Anyway.
Gold got a new girlfriend, and obviously, Asmon, great guy. I love him very much.
Okay, big problem already. Big problem. I don't fucking know about that, brother. All right. So I want to show these, quite frankly, revolting photos first. Asmongold stuns with his new girlfriend, and you have to all see this because I've had to see this. There is something to Asmongold that is this kind of precocious, edgy, sarcastic brand of humor and dealing with the world and relating to other people that I think a lot of people saw quite a bit in middle school. And he never grew out of it. Whether it was because through social strata and stigma, he was never forced to because he lived his entire life online, whether it was because he was enabled by his parents to become a lazy parasite on the underbelly of society. I don't know. But I do know that this kind of behavior of cloyingly playing at being cute or being silly when you are somebody who spends his entire life going online and talking about how certain people are genetically inferior, about how people need to die in the streets because they oppose you, how more people need to be shot in the head by ICE in front of their friends and family. That's this guy. And then he's going to go on with his plasticine Asian GF and make funny, goofy faces as though he doesn't do any of that shit. Now, a couple of things. Apparently, this is his girlfriend. I don't know how much she's being paid. I hope it's a lot. She did have a... What the fuck? Kaisi. I stream. This is also just like girl, it can't be worth that much. I know they're doing it for the memes more than anything. Like that's what's happening here, by the way. They are doing it for the memes of like, oh, look at this disgusting troglodyte with this traditionally attractive girl. And here we go. Really, I won't scroll down to that one. Really on the friend of the show, Cloudy, saying, girl, you're dating a Nazi, and her response is, what's a Nazi? Which is not a genuine response, of course. That's it. Like, she knows. She's on board with all this shit. She, like everybody else in the incredibly privileged, insulated online space, like OTK, they're okay with it. They don't see it as prohibitive for somebody else that you're dating to not believe in inherent human rights, to want subjugation, to want other people murdered for differences in beliefs. I don't know why they're okay with it, but they are. And that's what needs to be taken into account more than anything. God, this is so fucking gay. By the way, this is the new thing. This is for you, Vaush. I'm going to make everybody watch it because this is the new embarrassing chud thing going around in a second here. Hell yeah. So if you call out somebody for supporting a Nazi online, I don't think this is going to get much play or traction. Certainly not like this person, because I think even the most socially imbalanced and inept chuds in this space are able to see that this is too much. But this is what an Asmongold fan thinks is a acceptable, appropriate, normal adult response to somebody saying, hey, girl, you're dating a Nazi. And apologies in advance for this.
Call me a racist, fascist, nationalist, grifter, bootlicking theocrat, literally Hitler, colonizer, Nazi, incel, bigot, white supremacist, privileged, idiot, snowflake, pick me, toxic, homophobe, chud troll, sexist, deplorable, xenophobe, shill, dog, whistling, transphobe, simp stan, alt-right, neocon, tyrant, yeah, and...
That's what they that's a good comeback. You can call me a simp. You can call me a fascist. You can call me an idiot. Yeah, and that's cool. Yeah, dude. That's owned. Owned, libs. Owned. Asmongold's girlfriend demands he clean his contaminated house and shower more. Twitch streamer Kaizi shocked the internet when she randomly showed up at Asmongold's house, and now she has some big demands. Last week, a female streamer randomly spawned into Asmongold's room, and the two immediately went viral with their interactions, mostly because people just couldn't believe she had already been inoculated, that her body didn't spontaneously burst into fucking hives. Kaizi was instantly put off by the state of Asmon's toilet. We watched this. Days later, she found a cockroach head in his fridge while he was cooking a steak for her. And here's the other, like, annoying and cringe part of Asmon, is there is this pervasive sense of being the kid who is willing to squirt milk out of his nose for the rest of the class. You know? Like, he understands at a basic level that this incredibly unhealthy, antisocial, disgusting, unbecoming behavior gets him attention, and he thinks that's charming or cute. He likes that being a disgusting, depraved, debased creature, like somebody who willfully just decides to be a little less human than everybody else. living in his own filth. Like a literal animal. While he sits in his comfortable chair and calls other people lesser than that. Oh yeah, that's just a fact. Yeah, actually, no. Actually, it's just a fact that other people aren't as developed as white people. You know, that's just true. Hey, chat. That's just true. And at the end of the day, it's because he thinks like look at him here in this picture, holding for his audience a picture of a severed cockroach head that was in a fridge. Like, this is a normal thing. And he knows it's not, but he does it for the attention. Like, he does it because he likes getting that attention. That's what drives him. Kaizi, a streamer, has a history with Asmongold. Oh, does he? Oh, girl. Public relationship with fellow streamer Pink Sparkles. Some have accused the Fansley model of being a gold digger. Oh, fucking a Fansley model? Hell yeah, dude. Fansley. Oh my God. She is fucking raking in the dough on this. Oh, that fucking whips. His fucking payday a coming. Oh my God. That's what it comes down to. Like, you get to go in front of this massive audience of incel creeps and then shill your wares to them, be like, hey, you can come see my ass. You can come see my tits on Fansly or whatever the fuck. And Asmon doesn't fucking care. He doesn't give a shit. That's so fucking funny. That's so funny. Blah, blah, blah. Weird interactions. Here we go. When she first showed up and walked into his streaming room, she revealed she was unable to use his toilet because of a dookie stain that made it unusable. Asmongold's house has been a meme for many years for being a roach-infested mess with dead rats, and the streamer's hygiene or lack thereof also spawned countless discussions online. Kaizi disturbed by finding cockroach head in Asmongold's fridge. At first, she seemed impressed by Asmon's fridge, calling it very clean, but upon further inspection, she made a gruesome discovery. Very clean, by the way, is because it's not filled with anything.
Where is it?
Wait, your fridge is very clean.
Yeah, it is. Of course it's clean.
No, never mind.
No, it's not.
Is that a cockroach head? That's a fucking cockroach head.
Yeah, actually it is.
Why is it
How
just
did you
a
know
head?
that? How did you know that?
Because there's a little thing on
the
the
pointing.
head.
Yeah, no, you're right. They actually. Oh my God.
Why is it just the head?
So have you ever heard of something that I've called before? I've called it roach snipping.
Why did you put it in the fridge?
No. I said roach snipping.
Yeah, that's like snipping a roach.
Like you cut them in half, right?
Yeah.
You cut them in half off the wall. So I guess I cut him in half.
Yeah, no. OVP, like Freya Ward, it's absolutely staged. Like, here's the thing. I don't think her reaction is staged. I think he absolutely put that in there. He's a fucking incredibly terrible actor. And again, I don't think she knew about it. I think this is because he enjoys this. Like, this is his thing that he likes. He likes being a disgusting little stain of a person. He likes living like a impoverished goblin. Like, look at him smile as he's talking about this. He gets off on being fucking disgusting. That's what he likes.
And half of him got inside.
What do you mean half of him got inside?
I don't know how it happened. I mean, it could have been 5 years ago. He's probably been there for years.
See, again, let that... No, he cut a roach in half and stuck it in the fridge. Like, that's what fucking happened here, which is arguably more worrying than the fact that he thought it would be a funny thing to stage this very obviously, to discuss the person that is apparently his girlfriend. Like he thinks it's cute. He thinks it's a fun quirk for your partner to find the severed head of a cockroach. Like he genuinely thinks that's like a fun thing. Like this is a fun couples activity. Nushkin, thank you for following. Nehemia, thank you for $5. He's in that pic like, give me 10 of these roach heads and you get to see your daughter again. Wahaha. I wouldn't be surprised. Tartan Mechanics, thank you for €5. That's the most put the money in the duffel bag if you want to see her again energy in a photo I've ever seen. Every one of their fucking photos have that same energy. It's bizarre. But anyway. Blah, blah, blah. So this is the thing that they took after that. With her, again, this seems more realistic, but him smiling here and all that shit, like, they're doing it for fucking attention. Asmongold's girlfriend demands. Messy House has been a meme in the streaming community. Asmon revealed that KZ has a list of things she's urging him to do. She wants me to clean up the house. She says it's contaminated. He's so fucking lazy, dude. Have plans for a cleaner. He has more money in his goddamn bank account than God. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to plan for a clean. Like, just pay somebody to fucking do it, dog. Kaizi also wants Asmon to shower more. Streamer's been notorious for his lack of hygiene. She gave me a big list of things she wanted me to do. She did say she wanted me to cut my hair shorter, but not super short. I wouldn't be surprised if he just fucking doesn't do any of that stuff and they don't have a relationship in the future. Like, I genuinely, and I understand these girls are in spaces with a lot of fucking weird men. They're in spaces with a lot of fucking weirdos. Like, these motherfuckers are still running in circles with rape tone. Sorry, tech tone. You rapist motherfucker. So on one level, I understand that they might be resistant to some of the worst habits, but I cannot imagine anybody going through that weekend and being like, yeah, this is a relationship I am emotionally attached to and want to keep pursuing with Asmongold of all people. No, it's 100% a fucking grift. Asmongold thinks he was beginning to evolve by not showering for 3 months. Twitch star Asmon isn't known for his stellar hygiene. Throughout his streaming career, his room has become a meme, seldom mess that he never cleans, or a mess that he seldom cleans. Blah, blah, blah. Sure enough, he ended up finding a dead rat. Unsurprising, considering he previously used a dead rat as an alarm clock. We all know about that story. Fast forward a year later, he once again grossed out fans after revealing details about his pillowcase.
It weirds me out, bro. It does. This is it. It's normal. It's not normal, bro. Like, I never have fucking acne, bro. Like, I used to have acne real bad. Now I don't. But, yeah, no, it's okay. I usually, I change my pillowcases. I've done it before. It's happened, I think, twice. One time, I had a girlfriend move in, and she said you needed to change your pillowcases. And that was in 2019. And then the other time I changed them was in 2023. And so, yeah, it's happened. And so maybe that's the reason why. And
Stabby made fun of him, and now we have a girlfriend. What a coincidence. Yeah, wasn't he just talking... By the way, yeah, I completely forgot about that shit. Wasn't he just talking about how it's been rough for him and he doesn't have a GF and all that shit? Elsaf, I think for 5, Asmon is the kind of guy who would tell Native Hawaiians and Puerto Ricans to get deported, even if they are technically Americans. He has literally told people that. Bruce Magson, thank you for $10. Real life loathsome dung eater. I feel like that's a offense to the dung eater. The only time he changed it was 4 years later in 2023, and he hasn't done it since. He added at one point he didn't shower for 3 months.
I do actually think that. Anyway, so I started showering more. Probably one of the worst decisions I've ever made in my entire life. I might just go back to not showering anymore, and that way, I can evolve once again. But the problem is that after not showering, I actually was beginning to evolve.
So here's the thing. A lot of people like to defend his fans, like to defend Asmon by saying, oh, he's just a normal guy. Oh, he's just saying what normal people want. He's just down to earth. And what they mean by that is that Asmon Asmon knows as much about any given subject he talks authoritatively on as them, which is to say, fucking nothing. And that's what they really identify with. Because when you look at any other aspect of his person, of his character, of how he represents himself, how he interacts with others, there is not a single fucking thing about Asmongold that is or has ever been regarded as normal in a functioning, sane society. Not a single fucking thing. There is no normal person who will go, yeah, actually, I didn't bathe for 3 months because it was going to make me evolve like a Geodude. Yeah. Actually, and that's just true, chat. Yeah. No, I do this thing called roach snipping. This is, and you might not like it, chat, but that's just true. What I do is I take the cockroach and I cut it in half. And I don't have a comically large thing of Diet Coke to just from like he does in the middle of his fucking streams. So just imagine I have that, and I only drink Diet Coke and I have no water content in my body. That's it. I hate the way he talks. Yeah, fucking me too. Me too. Mystic. You've probably heard this before, but the impression is impeccable. Unfortunately, I've had a decent amount of experience watching his shit to get it right. Motivating my depressed ass to shower tonight. Amen. Raven Lantern. If you ever need motivation to get up to not bed rot all day, to do something. This is something I know the struggle of bed rotting. I know so many people who have issues with bed rotting, who have issues with depression, and especially right now. Like, I get it. It's rough out here. But at the end of the day, as long as you're doing better than Asmongold, you're doing pretty good. You're doing pretty good. I truly believe that money and clout cannot buy him happiness. They haven't. He has no will or engagement with enough of society's structures to like see those ends. Like, straight up. He doesn't care enough about other people, about other, like, just anything outside of himself. And I cannot imagine seeing the inside of that as a available young woman, a streamer and a Fansly model, and being like, yeah, this is the guy I'm definitely with for not at all self-serving reasons that have nothing to do, because on the other half of it also makes total sense. Like this is the ultimate fucking Fear Factor challenge right here. Like, I think Fear Factor's been off the air for a little bit, but they could revive it and make a whole season about how long can you stick dating somebody like Asmongold as long as it helps to raise your clout and get Fansly subscription. Because, like, that's what it seems like to me. This is a Fear Factor challenge she is giving herself to be like, Like, gosh, this will really fucking pay, but at what cost? At what cost? And the cost of just being in the proximity of him.
And I was becoming, let's say like I started off as a Geodude. I was becoming a Graveler. Because on my chest here, I put my hand on it, and I realized that I have been developing an exoskeleton. There was actually like a protective wall between my skin and the outside world that had been developing that was autonomous from my own body. Anyway,
that's fucking gross. That's gross. Dude, that's gnarly. I don't even have anything else to say. That's just like, why does he not question? Because again, he thinks it's fucking cute. Genuinely, he thinks this is like an endearing quality. And in fairness, in his incredibly simplistic grade schooler conception of the world, he's never seen a downside to this. Like, more people talk about him because of this shit. Like, the only downside is to not continue escalating the just disgusting behavior. Because he knows that the people in his corner, it's not going to shed them off. They think he's super cool and based for not being able to go outside without causing people to gag because he smells like a fucking dead body. But he also knows that the people who hate him are already going to hate him. He's already done so much of the shit that he's proud of it. He's proud of his dead rat alarm clock. He's proud. It's not like these things were secrets that were uncovered, that people were like, oh no, he doesn't want this. No, he puts this shit out there to the world. He is proud of being an ignorant, disgusting puddle of a human being. A mutated mass of cells from which I'm willing to bet a lot of them aren't even of human origin anymore. Magar, thank you for $5 now. I ain't saying she's an Asmon gold digger. Oh, that's great. That's funny. Asmon gold digger is funny. Jet Souls Forever, thank you for $2. Didn't shower and thought he was Senator Armstrong. Sky McLeod. Teto Man, I had no idea who this guy was before watching this, and I regret everything. The world is the worst place, and I could have imagined how do people like this guy. Oh, this is merely the edge of the depths I dig to on a regular basis. Welcome. Anarchala, thank you for $5. I'm sorry to inform you, they did in fact reboot Fear Factor, but I like your pitch a lot better. They should let me reboot more shit. I got good ideas. Anarchala, thank you for $5. I'm sorry to inform you, Nehemia, thank you for $5. There's twinks, bears, and otters. Then there's Zach, who seems to be a type of dead rat or something. He's like a roach rat. He is some shit that I would see, like, that you see in a new Fallout game. He's a roach rat. Gil the Dragon, thank you. Holy shit, for 200 MX. I don't know what the conversion rate is on that, but thank you very much. He cultivates inhumanity in the worst sense possible, not for liberation, but subjugation. Yeah, he is so dead. Like, the ultimate contradiction with Asmongold, and it's the thing that I've poked fun at it, so many people poked fun at it, it is that idea, and in some ways I think he is really representative of the modern American right, the Burger Reich, as it was. Because he doesn't care about anything but optics. But not even that. It's just about being the optics of being as loud, as abrasive, as hateful, as ignorant. Like wearing ignorance as a virtue. And it perfectly fits into the modern right-wing movement. Because that's all a trickle down from like Trump's style. Gil the Dragon, read There Is No Antiemetic. I did read. I read the There Is No Antiemetics. I actually read that. When did I finish that? I think that was this year. Vice signaling. That's towing. That's actually a really good way to put it, I feel. Ugh. Ooh, FD has a new video about Candace. Let's fucking go. Oh, but there's also that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. Atheist versus AI Jesus. Ah, bless you, Emma. Bless you. Why do I don't watch a lot of Emma Thorne stuff, but they keep coming up on my they want me to watch more Emma Thorne stuff, which I used to watch a lot of their stuff. And we're getting a lot of really fun. The Theosophical Society. Interesting. I also been meaning to watch Westside Tyler has been branching out a lot more, and I appreciate that. I think that is a far better path for him than picking fights with fucking Flesh Simulator. Oh yeah, I love Emma. Emma's great. I have Emma's Baphomet plush right here. I have a what? Ooh. I got the little Baffy plush a while ago. I forgot I have my little cacodemon right here too. Do I acknowledge the defeated embrace of Grandpa Nurgle? I do, but people like Asmongold make me very, very hesitant. Very hesitant. Huh. It's been a fucking weird like thing lately. Leftist empathy is destroying the West. Ooh, I kind of want to watch that because it has, although I don't think that's actually Judge Holden, but that's like one of the artist depictions of Judge Holden, but has a hairpiece on, which I don't believe he does. Maybe that's a later point in the book, but everybody, the most notable thing about Judge Holden is that he's fucking hairless. Like that's what everybody says about him. Like the kind of the craziest shit about one of the funniest parts about as I'm reading Blood Meridian is how everybody just seems to note that like, hey, have you seen Judge Holden? Yeah, that motherfucker has no hair. Yeah, my thing is a fucking nightmare. Next Jubilee vid, 1 empath versus 20 murderers, both equally valid. Oh, I love jammies too. Jammy Dolja. All right, chap. I am gonna we've had a pretty good stream today. I need to go say hi to. God damn, I need to start streaming earlier because I always get way more people on Twitch that way. Like we're almost at 200 on Twitch. See, that's crazy. Black Hole Sunfish. I don't know why Deadwing Dork is popping up. I watched their stuff like 10 years ago. I guess this is the same profile, but like I swear I haven't watched one of their videos in fucking forever. I wonder if the algorithm is just like, hey, do you want to watch this bullshit? I'm like, no. All right, chat. I have to go. get ready. Well, I gotta take my dog out. She's napping right now in the sun. She looks so freaking cute. But I have to take her out because I am going to take my partner when she gets back. We are going to go see End of Evangelion in theaters. I caught up. I've watched Eva before, but I bolted through Eva in the last week or so, which is not that much, honestly, because it's like 24. I'm not watching the last 2 episodes, so 24 episodes at 22 minutes a piece is like fucking nothing. But I'm gonna go see End of Eva. End of Eva is playing. I think it's a Fathom event playing tonight. So if y'all didn't know, go check it out. It might be in fucking theaters near you. I'm super excited to go see it. I think it's like the 4K remaster. Let's go say hi to we got Maple Takes, we got Surus. Let's go say hi to Frogan. We haven't said hi to Frogan. Frogan needs some support right now. And stay tuned to the channel. We've got so many things I'm working on, so many things coming up. Go like, subscribe, go to the live chat channel, do all the things I talked about earlier. We have 2 channels right now on YouTube. One of them is almost to 5,000 viewers or 5,000 subs. If you can go help with that, I'd appreciate it. One of them is almost to 160. I would appreciate it. Go follow that. And then, yeah, go over, say hi to Frogan, and I will see y'all later. We will see y'all.